I saw him, I was like,
That was how you met.
yeah, I was like, "Why is the guy from Onimusha in Godzilla?" To which, of course, naturally, Michael got a kick out of that. He thought it was the funniest thing. I had no
So,
idea who he was.
uh, have you seen anything about this? About the live letter dollar?
Oh god, yes.
Oh,
You
okay.
can't be online without, like, accidentally running into a bunch of things.
Yeah.
All right.
I just don't know the specifics of anything.
All right. Well, I have started the recording.
Mhm. Hello,
Um,
hello.
well, we're only going to watch the first half because the second half is Q&A for the
That makes
story,
sense, fair enough.
and Leak cannot watch that.
Whatever still remains
Questions
as a
make me angry.
mystery,
Questions
whatever
make me
still
angry.
remains for Leak to not be spoiled on, let's not be the ones to do it, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But if anybody watching, we are reacting to the live letter 68. The next 10 years of Final Fantasy 14. That is what this live letter is about.
An
Some of us,
absolutely massive topic, by the way.
yeah, an actual successful 10-year plan. We've already had one successful 10-year plan out of 14, and I'm assuming we're gonna have another one. But anybody watching, please like or subscribe, and yeah, we'll get into this.
おはようございます。
おはようございます。
Hello everyone. 第68回 Final Fantasy 14 プロデューサーレターライブをお送りいたします。
はい。
Thank you very much for tuning in to Final Fantasy 14 Letter from the Producer Live number 68. 皆さんに自己紹介お願いします。Please introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy 14.
Dude, Alpha's everywhere.
皆さんおはようございます。
I mean,
in game and out of game.
What a good boy he is.
兼ディレクターの吉田です。よろしくお願いしま
よ
す。
ろしくお願いします。そして本日進行を務めますコミュニティチームモルボルこと室内です。よろしくお願いします。My name is Toshio Murauchi.
I like how she green screened in.
Yeah.
I will do MC stuff for today's live letter. はい。そして、本日は
That
ですね、
said, come on,
本日の
Square.
PLL も
Give her a good webcam. She deserves it. She's working so hard for you.
Yeah.
我らがあゆみさんがスクエアにアメリカオフィスから入ってくださっております。So once again, today's letter live is fully bilingual in both Japanese and English.
I love how much work they've put into this.
America office.
Yep.
あゆみさんです。おはようございます。
おはようございます。スクエアニックスアメリカの徳武あゆみです。通訳を務めさせていただきます。よろしくお願いします。Hello everyone, this is Aimi from the Square Enix Los Angeles office. I'm going to be supporting for the translations today.
Ooh,
Oh yeah, but you could tell the camera is definitely lower quality.
Oh, it's because she's using a webcam and they're using a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Come on, you guys
Always
gotta
great
give
to
me
have it, though.
DSLR camera. Come on.
で、対して私からは大して重要な話は
My immersion.
私が私のことを翻訳し忘れてるなというのはスルーしておいていただければと思いますのでよろしくお願いします。So today's setup is 吉田さん explain things in Japanese and then あゆみさん will do 吉田さん 's voice in English and I will translate myself.
I love the idea of me putting on a voice for Yoshida.
ファイナルファンタジー14の新たなる挑戦、次の10年に向けてということで、吉田さんからいろいろご説明いただきます。そして後半はですね、休憩挟みまして後半は、フォーラムで事前に募集しました、パッチ 6.0 をプレイしてみての、Q&A セッションをお送りしたいと思います。So today's letter live has two major parts and then first half is the kind of presentation by producer director Naoki Yoshida, which is where we are and where we are going for next 10 years. And then we have a taking break, and then latter half is the Q&A session based on your gameplay.
I'm just sitting here bobbing my head.
6.0 expansion.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing really to remark upon just yet. We know this is going to be the next 10 years. Look forward to hearing what it is.
I'm just bobbing my head because of footfalls playing in the background.
That as well. It's great.
So you might see me turning my head sometimes when I'm speaking, but I am actively looking at the comments that people are making as you watch the stream. So you may see
Mistake,
me
Yoshida.
Yoshida, no.
I am still participating.
No, Yoshida, don't do that.
まあちょっとね、日本の
Actually, you know he
コメント
revels in
で
the shit
あの
posting.
この手の
Yeah.
It's true, that's fair,
そう
actually.
って言ってる人いるんですけど、まあグローバル全体でね、お届けしているので、吉田の長い話をですね、あゆみさん一生懸命ね、通訳してく
What
れ
is
て
this
る
shirt?
んで、
His shirt says
そ
MS
こはね、それを言われると我々ちょっと悲しくなるんで、
GM.
Who shirt?
そういうまあファンフェス
よし
のステージぐらいで
よし
思って見てもらえると嬉しいかな。
MSGM.
And we
Metal Gear
do see
Solid
some
M.
comments
Metal Gear
about
Solid
how
what?
Stop it.
regulations
Stop
kind of
it.
drag
It's
on
Metal
the
Solid
process
Gear.
and feel
You have
as
the
quick.
let us out of order. How dare you get
But
me excited?
Amy is here to try to facilitate communicating Yoshida's comments. It makes us sad if you're
No, it's
disappointed
reversed.
It's in two languages, but perhaps if you look at it like a fan
It's a
fest
mirror.
where we have the Japanese and English, maybe
It's part of
that might
the
help
AR.
make it more fun.
あとコメントで今日は 6.1 はがっつりじゃないんですかっていうのもあるんですが、So we see some comments. Do we have any further updates for 6.1? So 6.1 がっつりってことだけはないんですよね。
そうですね、パッチ 6.1 の内容と紹介に関しては、
はい
3月4日
はい、4日です。
に、パッチ 6.1 特集パート1の PLL をやる予定なので、6.1 のまあでも今日ちょっと出ますけどね、6.1 の詳しいところはそっちに譲ります。
So yeah, today's broadcast is not literally going to be just about 6.1.
I just like how a Yoshi P looks like
we
he's
may touch upon it,
staring
but
at
then
whatever
the
I made
details
has
are
in
going
front
to
of
be
her.
explained on
Hey,
another
hey,
episode of
what you eating? You brought enough for the
live
class?
on March the 4th.
Let me have
this is
one.
JST. But we will go into details.
He's, like,
on
so
the
interested in
really
it.
good.
timing.
あとはまあなんか
How'd you get their little legs to flare out like that in a hot
ニュアン
dog?
スで取られてるけど
I can't do that.
楽しく気楽に行くので皆さんもですね緊
They
張
look
せ
like
ず
little
気楽に
octopus.
今日は見てもらえると嬉しいです。
And some people might be bracing for a very important announcement when we talk about today's broadcast, but that's not the intent. We would love for you to just relax and just have fun with the broadcast.
面白いですよ。
Oh, by the way,
No,
before
that does help my help me place my hype levels. 'Cause I'm still curious about the database transfers.
いつだっけ
Not transfers. The data center.
言ったばっかで
あー
ライフワークだって言ってるんで、そういう話じゃないんですよ。
And I understand we were talking about like the future of Final Fantasy
before the,
14, but every
before
time
the
we
live
mention
letter
something
started,
like that, people are like, "Oh
Yoshi
no, is
P did
Yoshida going to
state that,
quit?" And no, I think I told us when we were
despite
doing
what
our
the
announcement
what
showcase
the
in
president
February,
said
it's
about
14
them
is
like
my
going into
waifu word.
NFTs, that
It's not
they
like
will
I'm
not
going
be
to
within
just up
14
and
at
leave
all.
suddenly.
Yes, that is something that I did know, and as per usual, based as how business divisions are. Excellent, good.
言わないですよ。
ちょっと恥ずかしいね。
うん。
I don't want people to be going around saying, "Oh, you're such a liar," because I mean, I'm not the type of person who would make these kinds of like my personal announcements on a live stream. So
I still can't believe that they did that. Was it like Happy New Year? Oh, by the way, we're doing NFTs. Wow,
Yeah.
that was wild.
Yeah.
I still think it's a I think it was a what is it, a stockholders like ploy
we're
of like
looking at,
or
at least for the first part, we're looking
investors
at
like
about
thing
2
where
hours
it's like yeah
broadcast,
we're gonna do
and so
NFTs and
just
investors yeah.
You're free to do.
But
like,
that's what investor
have
calls are
dinner
for.
or, like,
Now this was a
lunch,
tweet.
As you're watching the broadcast, it is a Saturday, so if you want to start drinking early,
Well, it was a
you're more than welcome to do so.
Oh no, hold on. That's just how I found it. That doesn't
さあ行
necessarily.
きましょう。
Yeah, no, it wasn't a
では
tweet. It was it was
画面切り替えてもらって
posted like from Square Enix
はい
like
じゃ
on
あ
their like on a
早
site.
速いきますが、
It was like a letter.
改めて今日お話しする内容の
How's that New Year
トピック
blog?
おさらいしておきましょう。
Yeah.
Oh, well, then yeah, it's still
So
public.
jumping
That
right
seems like a
in,
weird way if
let
they
me
were
go
just
over
doing it
the
for the
topics we'll
investors.
cover.
で、まず一つ目はちょっとですね、まあ14これまで、正確にはね11年やってきているので、まあちょっと振り返りを
I
最初に
cannot believe how
皆
long
さんへ
it's
の感
been.
謝も込めて、
Current
やりたいと思いま
timeline.
す。
The current timeline.
The first topic, of course, it's been about 11 years, to be accurate, how long 14 has been going on. So we'd like to kind of do a little bit of a retrospect.
They're
just
acknowledging
convey our
1.0.
thanks to our players and look back on
Are they?
everything.
Yeah.
それを振り返
11 years,
2010?
まあ
I
ちょっ
don't
と
Yeah,
think that's
2010 is when it-
2.0 came out
2010.
続け
2011.
たいと思ってるん
Did it?
まあ
Okay, never
Yeah.
mind then.
I specifically remember because I was first moved to
新しい
Japan
挑
then.
戦やっていきますよといろいろ
Yeah, it comes at a really like nothing was
お話
happening in my
ししたい
life
と思います
period, so it all kind of
Yeah.
And
meshes
then once we
together.
do look
Yeah,
back
1.0
on
came out
our
in
past, then we look forward to the next 10 years.
2010,
Because
and
as
then
I
it,
mentioned, I would love to continue
it-
having Final Fantasy 14 for.
I mean, this doesn't come as any
Same
great
year.
surprise. They do
there are
often
many
reference
different,
1.0
things that
to
we
the point
want
that
to
people
do
are
in
asking
order
them, hey,
to
we
continue
need you to
expanding
clarify
Final
a few
Fantasy
things so
14,
we know
many
when you're
challenges that we
referencing
want
them.
to take on. So I
Mhm.
want to touch upon some of those items in today's broadcast.
でここまでいったら一回休憩を挟んで、放送の後半として3つ目、パッチ 6.0 行月のフィナーレ、プレイしてみて何かありますかというので Q&A 事前
And we
に
will
質
not
問
be
募集して
listening to that.
いましたのでそれに対していろいろお答えしていこうかなと思ってます。
And then once we do that, we will have a break in between, and then it'll go into the latter half of the show where we kind of asked the players, what did you think after playing 6.0? And so we will do a bit of an Endwalker Q&A.
あと10年間吉田リビングデッドを使う気だなみたいなコメントがあったりね。
We're seeing comments like, oh, 10 more years, huh? Is Yoshida going to kick off his living dead?
まああったよね確かに、吉田の量産を開始し
Wow.
ましたクローンの吉田が誕生したので紹介しますとかそういうのじゃねえか
So unnecessary.
But yeah, I think I've seen comments similar to that, and like people saying, "Oh, we have mass manufactured Yoshida clones."
でなぜか私はもう完了してます。
Not unwelcomed,
そう
just
Yeah,
saying.
I say I've done already. So,
では早速いきましょうか。まずはまあ正確にはね11年なんですけど大きくくくってまあ10年ここまで皆さんとね
The
や
dad
ってきたのを
artwork.
ちょっと振り返っていきたいと思います
Honestly, after 11 and how it's still
Okay, so
freaking
jumping
going, I'm not.
into
This
the
this seems
timeline
like
here,
not.
Oh,
of
yeah.
course,
thing.
I
Yeah, yeah.
accurately it's
Agreed.
11 years, but like we'll
Also,
call
since when
this
has
the
Blue
10
Mage
years
looked
of
that
Final
good?
Fantasy 14.
Only in
snazzy.
artwork.
まあ
Okay, fair,
いろいろありましたねまあ2010年
I should really try Blue Mage
開始し
and
て
later
その
stuff of it
12
because it is
月に
apparently fun.
体制ね全部開発も
Not the
I have
not the
not heard
collecting,
this.
not the collecting of the things, but more specifically the carnival
So
stuff.
first,
Okay, that makes sense.
2010 was when it all started. Many things that happened caused us to sort of reconsider the development structures, and there was a lot of changes that were made in order to kind of reboot the.
Oh, that's right.
title.
2010 was
So
when
this is
Yoshi P
when,
came
I
on
joined in,
board.
Yoshida
That's why
joined
they're
into the
starting that.
project.
That makes sense.
で
Yeah.
2021年のあ違う2011年
Yeah,
の
that's
10
when
月
the
14日に
yeah, they're even
14
saying
日
that's when the
が延期がいいだろう
restructure
っていうの
began.
で
Okay, I follow that
Yeah.
now.
をやりますよと発表してますね
Because September 30th is when it came out, and
And
then literally 2 months
2011,
later they were like,
October
"Yeah, this
14th,
this
we're
game's
thinking
trash."
14th must-
Yeah, we're
must
gonna
go on.
we're gonna have to
And
nuke
that's when
this,
we
eh?
announced that we are going to have Final Fantasy 14 Reborn.
And then a year later
い
they
や
trashed
皆
it.
さん詳しいよねあゆみさんもインタビューにいてくれたと思うけど9番を遊んでみたいので9番のサーバーを復活させる気ありませんかってクラシックファイナルファンタジー14やる気ありませんかってナイトメアって答えたやつみんな覚えてて、ナイトメアってすげえ言ってんねコメントで
Hate the man.
I love how the comments from the West are. I love how they know all these details, and I'm sure Imi had sat into the interviews as well. But people were asking about, oh, are you going to make an FF14 1.0 classic like WoW Classic did theirs? And Yoshida answered Nightmare, and so people are calling the time of 1.0 in Nightmare. It's awesome.
でまあ2012年の11月11日にですね時代の終焉トレーラー公開とともにですね一旦申請の準備のために Q14 のサービスを、終了させていただいてます
And of course, in November 11th of 2012, we titled it The End of an Era, and we sort of closed the service for the original version of Final Fantasy 14.
まあ、9番からねやってくださってる方も結構いるし9番の捉え方って結構まちまちだとは思うんですけど9番のラスト付近はそれはそれでまた独特の ゲームデザインの MMO として結構ね好きだった面白くなったんだよって言ってくれる人たちもたくさんいてまあ僕ら
Guys, this is our
シャットダウンを決
history.
めながらも作ってたところに対してそういう、ね、
Don't be
評
cringe.
価をもらってたりするのは
Don't be
とてもあ
cringe.
りがたいことなので僕らも
What do you mean cringe? This is our history.
And of course, people who have
This is
been
our life
playing,
on a timeline here.
Since the
Don't say
original
that either. Oh,
they had their
10
opinions
years.
about how the game had played. But there were people who thankfully
And there's gonna be another
I
10.
was so
how
excited
working
graduating,
censorship,
going,
and
oh
they did
man,
take notice
gonna-
about how the
can't wait for
game's
this to come to
design is unique,
PS3.
despite,
finally gonna have
never
all of
looking to
this
sunset the
time.
original
Huh.
version.
Skipped 2 years
So
later.
it was wonderful that people acknowledged that, and that was very encouraging for us as a team.
ちなみに
I did start with the beta on PS3. I did not see it through, though. I ended up going to PC. But eventually, I got what I
If I could
wanted.
have people in the
I
comments,
started on the
by show of hands, I don't know how you raise your hands, but like
then moved
anybody
to
who's been
PC
playing
about
since 1.0, the original Final Fantasy,
like 6 months
14,
later.
we'd love to see who's been with us since then.
Nick, do you
Nah.
still play
Boy,
both?
there's a lot.
Or just
No,
PC?
I used to play PC. That's how I started. Then PS4 now.
Yeah.
But
So
I
you
have
are
a feeling
PS4
they'll
full-time now.
probably cull the PS4 in the near future.
まあここからねあと10年お互い健康に気をつけて楽しんでいきましょう。
Will they though?
But yeah, we're looking
Oh, I
forward
hope
to
not,
the next
because,
10 years,
you
and
know,
yeah, let's all take
save
care of our
money that
health
way.
and
Yeah, fair play.
That's awesome.
で、2013年ですね、ベータテス
You know,
ト
you got a
をやり
PC
ながら、2013年8月27日
Yeah, I'm
Good
about to
PC.
buy the
申請
game
を
again.
正式サービス開始
Endwalker,
す
that
る
is,
ことが
though.
できました。
Well, fund.
So moving on,
Taking
2013,
donations
we
for
start
PC,
our beta testing
14
for
for League.
Realm Reborn,
Okay.
and then August 27 of the same
Let's just hope she
year,
doesn't have to make the Switch.
we were able to relaunch as a Realm Reborn.
And you can use your controller on PC
振り
stuff.
返るとですね、2011
It's
年の3月ぐらいから
うん
一気に新生14の設計だけ5人ぐらいで設計をスタートして2011年の6月から6人のプログラマーがコードを書き始めたのを覚えてるので、実質そこから2年2ヶ月で新生リリースしてるので、もうちょっと驚異的今振り返ると。
I'm actually surprised they
And looking
announced a Realm
back,
Reborn
so
before
that
they
was
ended the service.
2011 in March. We started at least doing the frame.
Well, they need to make sure people were still excited so when they saw 2.0, they weren't like, oh, that trash fire.
Who started on the
No, I mean, I like-
framework, and then
I would've
starting
saved the
June of that
announcement
same
for-
year, 2011,
For
we had 6
when they did
programmers
take the
starting
servers
to
down.
write code, and considering it took about 2 years and
I think
2
they wanted
months
to make sure people stood on
relaunch,
brand instead of
that's
just
just
like immediately going to
incredible.
somewhere else.
A lot of
で
people were still playing the
念
game.
願だったですね
They want to make sure they didn't lose
ってい
them.
うのを2014年の10月からですね、スタートすることができました。今でも覚えてます。
Dude, imagine ending the servers and not
And of
announcing
course,
the ending the servers.
by 2014
Can you
October,
imagine?
we were able to hold our very first fan festival. That was something that we really wanted to do.
初めてやった北米のファンフェスの基調公演でステージに上がった時の大歓声でですね、
すご
もう
かったですね。
足が震えて
I still remember it today. The first time we did our fan festival, and we started out in the North America region. And when I took the stage to do my keynote presentation, and just the cheer that I received from the audience, man, my legs were shaking when I was up there.
で初の拡張であるヘブンズワード、2015年の6月にリリースして、その後の8月に、全世界累計登録者数が500万人を突破
Look
し
at
た
that growth.
Yeah, no doubt, no
Next,
joke.
we were able to launch our first ever expansion pack, Heaven's Word, in
God, now he comes out in
June,
costume
and
every
then
year
soon
or
after,
every
we
FanFest.
reached,
It's great.
5
Yeah.
million
It's gotten much. The whole thing's
registered
gotten much
players.
more
こ
confident.
の辺りはですね、我々開発チームもですね、高難易度高難易度って言われてよしやっちゃうぞって言ってもうキリッキリなのをやったらですね、いや難しすぎんだろってなってですね、我々もいろいろな失敗を繰り返しつつですね、今につながってる本当重要な時期だったと思います、ここは。
But this is around the time when people were starting to clamor for higher difficult content, and the dev team got so excited about, oh yeah, you want difficult, and so we gave you a really tough content, and people started complaining now about, oh no, this is too difficult, Yoshida, this is too difficult, and so we were trying to
There was the
find that
whiplash,
balance.
yeah.
It was trial and error trying to get to that nice.
Oh, you
balance.
want
But I think
difficult
it was
content?
really important that we're making
Gorgeous.
that conversation.
Nah, you want difficult
僕
content?
は
Titan
人生
hard
の
mode
基本
at
の一つ
launch.
をね学んだんですよ。プレイヤーの皆さんにはいやーちょっと簡単だった
It was
なっ
hard,
ていう
not
ぐ
extreme,
らい
right?
がちょうどいいんだなと
What-
And it
思
still
う
had that
it-
server lag thing as well.
Exactly.
That was a
At,
nightmare.
yeah,
Then it was
specifically
then
at
that I learned
launch.
this very
Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard, but they
valuable
were
lesson,
referring
which
to
is,
Gordius.
I think it's best.
No, I know what they were
if you
referring
the
to. I was
players
just getting a
would
chuckle
walk
out of
it saying, that was
the
pretty easy.
not quite purposefully
で
difficult
グレートリベレ
runs
ーター
of
の
Titan
発
back in the
売した
day.
のが
Oh, yeah.
2017年6月で、まあ、この
Dude,
辺りから
I had to heal
よう
that
や
on
くこ
PS3.
うバトルコンテンツ
It was
以
not-
外
I'm so
の
sorry.
もう14の世界に住むみたいなことをより具体化していけるようになったのがこのぐらいの時期で、
I did pass the
まあそれ
Gordius.
がね、功
Didn't do
を奏してです
everything
ね、登録者数が、まあ、こ
Dude,
の
I
時
didn't
点
even
で
get past
1000万
Faust.
人突破と。
Wait, what? Really?
And then, of course,
Dang,
Stormblood
Gordius
released
Savage?
in 2017
Yeah.
June, and we started looking at
Dude, that shit was
various
hard, man.
other types of
The
content.
group I
aside
was
from
in
battle
couldn't get
and
past Faust,
combat,
and then
content that would
they broke up,
involve
so.
the feeling of
Ah,
living in the
we
world
my
of
group eventually
Final
got past
Fantasy
Foul. Oh,
14.
not
And
eventually.
I think
Actually, pretty
that really
easily
struck
got
a
through the
chord with
first
people.
two.
People were resonating
And
with
then
it,
that- and
then
which,
Living Liquid.
Thankfully got
And then
us
Pepsi
to our
Man.
registered player number
And
of
then Pepsi Man.
14 million players.
We eventually got past it, but it
思い
was
出される
ugly.
グレートリベレ
It
ーター
took longer than any
ラ
of
ウ
us
ドハン透滅
expected.
戦
すごかったですね。
And I still remember when Stormblood first launched, Rauban Extreme in the 90s.
Yeah, I still have my shirt.
あり
Yeah.
ましたね。あ
And I
ー
think
Oh, they
all
got it
remember
wrong.
that.
It's Robon Savage and
ま
Pippin
あ
Extreme.
あの失敗
This is true.
今の安定したキューイングシステムがあったりするからね。
They can't get the memes right.
I mean, even with that failure, we learned.
I'm
from
so
it,
happy to have
and we
avoided
were
Pippin
able to build
entirely.
A much better queuing system.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with Pippin.
そしてですね、
I did get stuck
I
with
did
that
a
for a
couple
while.
of tries, but after that it was fun.
Yeah.
1400万人を
That's why Raubon was Savage and Pippin was Extreme because Pippin didn't.
Truth.
Pippin wasn't as hard.
ありがとうございます。
So I'm sorry, this is where we hit 14 million is 2018 August. And then moving on, we reached 16 million players by 2019 May. So thank you so much for all the players that are staying with us.
So weird that when you read like numbers in
そ
Japanese,
して
it's
続けてですね、
16,100,000.
2019年に
which is
漆黒の
16
2月を発売し、その年末にはですね、全世界累計登録者数が1800万人を、突破となりました。
Oh, they got through this pretty quickly, all things considered.
And moving on, we released Shadowbringers in
Yeah, yeah.
2019, and soon after,
Yeah, that was
we
awesome.
surpassed 18 million registered players.
Oh, still love me some Shadowbringers.
数字に関
Heaven's
して言
Word
うと
Shadowbringers
単
and
純に
Endwalker.
数字だけをこう
I mean,
Still
yes,
growing.
and of
そ
course,
の
Stormblood.
なんていう
But
の増えるペースっていうのを
Still
ばら
growing.
ついてるようにまあ見えるのかもしれないんですけど、実は体験
yeah,
したこと
especially
が
with
ある
certain
人が
bombs
増
dropped
えれ
on
ば
us,
増えるほ
definitely
ど
still growing.
新規が当然減るんですよね。パイ
Fucking
が決まってる
how dare
ところから新しい人を呼ばなきゃいけないので、だからここまでの数字になってるのにさらに数百万増やしていくっていうこと自体は
ね
とてもすごいことで、これは本当ね、まあ、開発運営チームの努力もそうなんですけど、マーケティング PR チームが、
はい。
コミュニティの皆さんと一緒になって達成してきてる数字なので、本当にこれはね誇らしい数字だと思ってます。
And looking at the numbers, it might seem like there's no real, like, nothing of note. Oh yeah, the numbers are just increasing. But if you consider this, if we have a certain number of people already playing the game, and if we have a single pie that we're taking numbers out of, like, you would expect the numbers to start going down, but it's it's interesting that we see more and more
Nah,
players
not with
join
a
us
good
even
game we
after all
don't.
these years. We are seeing millions signing up. So of course, I really want to acknowledge the development team, operations team, but also the marketing and PR teams working with the community to kind of promote the title and get the word out. So I'm very proud of their achievements.
I will say I don't think the marketing was as big as Shadowbringer's marketing.
Maybe because of the way I don't really have television per se, and I only see ads here and there. I didn't think the advertisement campaign for Shadowbringers was, or really for 14 in general, was that impressive.
No,
Or that
no.
aggressive
So
at least.
they well, you had
Of course, 2021, which is last year,
You had
we surpassed
the commercial
5
with Tom
million
Holland
registered
and
players.
Hannibal Buress.
That is
I
true.
did not
That is
see
true. That is the one that I
yesterday's
know.
numbers, or, like, as of
And you had all
yesterday's
the
numbers,
all the
but I do
commercials with that
understand
one
our
chick that
numbers are
was
still
like
increasing.
talking to the
And
person in the
then,
Estinian armor or whatever,
afterwards,
talking about, hey, have you guys heard
I
about
know we had
Final
to
Fantasy
I never
14?
delay
saw
this by about 2
those.
weeks.
I only
Again,
heard people
apologies
talk
for
about
the
them.
delay, but
I
I
saw
saw
them
that
on
one.
TV.
The other again, yeah,
and
it's probably because I
finally
just don't have
we were able
TV.
to conclude,
The other one that I
the
remember
story
seeing
of
years and years
Hybrid
ago
and
was the old
Zodiac.
live action A Realm Reborn one, and oh boy, it wasn't
bad.
great.
No.
The best advert for this is easily the free trial. That has been memed to hell, but it really is the best thing
Yeah.
to get people on board.
Even,
Because, free up to, what was it, level 60, including the award-winning Heaven's Word DLC.
Expansion, yeah.
Or expansion pack.
And
Uh,
it feels like a long time, but
I mean, it's
man,
even gotten to the
these
point that
11 years
Garnt
went
from
by
Trash
very
Taste
quickly
is now
for me.
playing 14.
And
Man.
all of our warriors
And they're all
Alliance
terrified
players,
that podcast
members
is going
of
to
the
fall
media,
apart because they're
all
just
of
going
our
to be gaming
supporting
too
partner
much.
companies as well.
Now,
There were
thankfully,
just so many people that supported us throughout
Connor's
this
a basic
all, so I do want to take this
gamer
opportunity
when it comes
to
to
convey
video games
my
and
gratitude
stays away from
the bottom of
story-based
my
video
heart. So I
games.
sincerely thank everybody.
And and Joey's already experienced 14, and he knows that if he ever actually started playing it, he would not stop. So he's got a bit of
And he's right.
He's got a bit of mental fortitude on that one. Garnt, on the other hand, is weak.
Is he weak, or is he simply a man of culture?
No, he's a man of culture.
And I also want
Oh,
to
actually,
acknowledge
ooh,
the
that's
development
debatable.
team as well.
He's the
They're
incest
always
man.
working against a very
Oh, don't say
harsh
that.
schedule, and even developing some of our expansion packs.
I
Sometimes we
guess
have
on a
about
certain
only about
level,
a year, or even less than a year to get through all of the
him and
tasks
his
that needed to
fiance
get
are
done. So,
definitely the
I
cultured
really want to show
pair.
my appreciation to them as well.
Because I'm pretty sure she's playing as well.
ではこれを
Ah, yeah,
踏まえて
good.
ですねここまで歩んできたその11年
But
9番のあの状態を考え
they
れ
are
ば
definitely the
これ以
they
上
are
ない
definitely
ぐらい
the
の
weird
成
the weird
功をさせ
two
て
of
い
the
ただいた
bunch.
と思ってます。ここは
God, imagine being the weird two
隠
of
さず
that
成
grouping.
功できてると思ってるので、それでいいと思ってるんですけど、まあここまではある意味もう過去になったので、ここからさらに次の10年また挑戦を続けていきたいと思います。
Actually, it's like
And
almost
looking
impossible to
at
gauge that whole
the
group.
trajectory here
So.
and the path we've walked down, I think I want to consider this a success from what we had taken, and what state it was in when we had first taken on the project, and to bring it to where it is now.
God,
I'm
imagine being
not
able
ashamed
to compare
declare it.
1-to-1,
It might be a little awkward with
1.0 to
Japanese,
Endwalker
but
right
I
now.
believe it is a success, and I think
Ah,
it's a good thing that we've
yeah.
gotten here.
And imagine
But
being
now
so
that we
humble as to
have
use words
gotten
like,
this far,
I
all of
believe
this
it's
is now in the
success.
past, and so we want to look to the future.
Yeah.
We want to see
Yeah, I'd say it
what kind
was.
of
I say you
challenges we
fucking
can take
nailed
on.
it, team. Well done.
というわけで2つ目のセクションである14の新しい挑戦と題してですね、まあ、今後どういうことやっていくよというのをお伝えしていきたいと思います。
So, for the second part of this presentation, as you see, it is entitled Newfound Futures. So, I would like to discuss what we are intending to do.
まずですね、僕としてはですね、社長からやめろって言われるか、まあ、やめろって言われても
Here's
抵
a
抗すると思うんですけど
The meat.
開発チーム運営チームからやめろって言われるか、
I'm
死ぬ
hungry.
か
Feed
ぐ
me.
らいの以外
Season
で
it
は
up
We
for
need that
us,
good
Yoshi
stuff.
P.
続けていきますんで、
Season it
今後
up, throw it on
ぜ
the
ひ皆さん
grill.
よろしくお願いします。
And me personally, as Yoshida, unless the CEO says, Yoshida, you need to leave, and even then, I think I'm going to fight him. Or if like the development team, operations
It's
team wanted to
amazing.
kick
I
me
love
out,
that that has
or if
endured.
I, God forbid, die. Those are the only extreme cases I would even consider leaving the 14 project. I want to continue working on Final Fantasy 14, so your continued support will definitely be appreciated.
というわけでですね、まず今
There
回
would
そ
be a
の
riot
10年さらにこう
if he
Yeah,
was
there
asked
would
to
be.
leave.
It is hilarious that Yoshipi's like, you would have to drag me away when I'm pretty sure he's shackled to his seat.
この先の10年に向けてまずは
Like the company has to be
7.0
terrified of him
を
ever
描け
being
て、
in a position
新しい
to
こと
want to
に
leave.
挑戦していこうと思ってます
Yoshipi's like, over my cold, dead
Of course,
corpse.
with this
Good.
title,
Click, click.
and
You're not
considering
going
that this
anywhere.
game
Happy we
was
agree.
launched from a Japanese development studio, and being able to expand to this global scope, it's a rarity, I think. And so my next goal, my future goal, is now looking at 7.0 and
Actually,
leading
Yoshipi's in
up
the
to
real
that, what can we
subathon
do?
right now.
コメントが
Every sub to 14 just
お大丈夫
adds
大丈夫
another
もう
year onto his fucking
7.0 やっ
sentence.
てたから7.0 はやるよ
People are already speculating about, oh no, 7.0 confirmed? Well, I mean, we are already talking about scenario for 7.0. I'm not afraid to say that we do intend on doing a 7.0.
まずここに向けて
We
ちょ
do
っとコンセ
intend
プ
to
ト
have
の
a
話をさせてもらい
7.0.
ます
Was this ever in question?
一つ目が
Oh,
こちらになります
okay. Cool. Thank you for confirming.
Now, that being said, I do want to establish
7.0
what my thinking
before
is and the
6.1?
concept
What?
behind what we're trying to do leading up to 7.0. And this is the first point.
まあこれ具体的にどういうことっていうのはこの後ちゃんとお話ししようと思います
And of course, I will go into detail as to what this exactly means.
そしてですね 7.0 に向けて、チャレンジとしてですねこちら、第一次グラフィックスのアップデートの準備開発っていうのをやっています
Yes, a graphical update. Let's go.
Next, again, leading up to 7.0, and one of the challenges that we want to take on.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I was wondering, is PS4 on the way out?
And the development.
Oh, yeah, actually, that's terrifyingly a possibility. I imagine they don't want to do that yet, though.
That's
Of course,
7.0, yeah.
When we dive into
Maybe.
each of these different points, I will touch upon why we are calling this the first graphical update.
まあ一応先に言っとくコメントが結構多いんで7.0 で PS4 が遊べなくなるってことはない
They said PS4!
ないのでお約束しておきます
I do want to clarify though, because I am seeing a lot of comments wondering about this. This does not necessarily mean that we are ceasing the support for PS4 as of
Hooray.
7.0. So I do want to clear that
Okay.
out first.
Unfortunately, that does make me think that they are considering sometime in the 7.0 life cycle
Yeah.
rolling that to a
It'll-
close.
it'll probably be Equino, if they add-
Yeah, like
to.
they'll announce it at the
And
end
the
of
third
7,
point,
say like this is it, this is the
since
last
we are
hurrah
here, I would
for
like to take the opportunity
PS4.
to cover what we are planning to do throughout the 6.x series as a sort of roadmap.
I'm really happy that they said something now,
はい
though.
では
That's really
各
good.
項目、詳しくよりお伝えしていこうと思います
Diving into the details.
まずコンセプトの一つ目ですね一人でもみんなでも遊べる RPG へ、まあ、さらなる進化をしていきますと
So our first concept, an even better RPG, alone or with friends.
Okay, this is
これ
something that
まあ
I've been
何
hearing,
かっていうと
so
ですねまあ読んで字のごとくなんですけど
I think it's a smart take.
Ffxiv
Yeah.
一応ジャンルとしては
yeah,
MMORPG って
expanding
呼
it
ばれてま
to
す
be playable for people who
So,
may
I
not
mean,
want to
it
be
is what it says,
in a
of
guild
course,
or some
but,
such.
Yes, I understand that Final Fantasy
Sorry,
XIV
a free
as a
company.
game genre would be categorized as an MMORPG.
そこでですね、まあ僕この11年ファイナルファンタジー14をやってきて、世界中のこうプレイヤーの皆さんとイベントだったり、こうまあファンフェスも含めてですけど、本当たくさんのゲーマーの人たちとこう話をしてきました。
And of course, throughout the 11 years of doing Final Fantasy XIV, we did various events, gaming events, including Fan Festival, and I had the opportunity to speak with the different gamers.
そこでですね、あとそのマーケティングチームに市場調査とかをしてもらって、まあ、これね
Different
定期的に
gamers
拡張のたびにやってるんですけど、やっぱりこうそこで出てくる答えっていうのが、まあ、なかなかブレイクスルーできないなっていうのがあったりします。
And of course, I would have my marketing teams perform market research as well. And this is something we regularly do when we start to plan for upcoming expansion packs. And with the information that we receive, and there's always like a question that we never seem to find a way to break through.
2つあって、1つは
Wonder who they
ファイ
hired
ナルファンタジ
or
ー
wese
シリー
they
ズ
have
大
like
好き
just
なんだよ。
making these
うん
like
すごいファンなんだ。
these slides or
全部やっ
whatever
て
and
る
they're
よ。
just like
ただし11
putting
と
whatever
14以外ね。
fucking
っていう
whatever
のが
fucking
めちゃく
scene
ちゃ悔
or
しい。
like
It's an
screenshot in the
intern that they
background.
have.
But
Hey,
it's actually
grab
true,
the
and
assets
one of
from
them
the
is
folder and
we
just
see
mash them
there's a
together so
lot
it
of
makes
players
sense,
that love
please.
Final Fantasy.
We need
And
this
many
for
that claim they've played all of the Final Fantasies
tomorrow.
except for 11 and 14, which is very frustrating.
まあ、11もね、今かなりアップデートをかけて、かなり大部分ね、ソロで遊べるように快
Just
適に
need you to make this
してますが、
slideshow,
14 は
please.
さらにその先へ行きたいと思ってます。
And of course, we are paying attention to Final Fantasy 11 players as well, and we've made various updates.
Oh, hey,
I think
yeah,
it
we
has become
exist.
very solo friendly recently, but with Final Fantasy 14, we want to go beyond that.
あとはこう、もう一つはですね、
Even
オンライン
further.
なんだよね。めんどくさい
Beyond.
人と遊ぶの。いや、
It is. I like the mindset of this being a numbered Final Fantasy, so they don't want to bar it behind
そのプレイをしない理由
being
っていうところ
strictly multiplayer.
The
It's already
second point
semi-barred
we
behind
we
a
are trying to
sub,
make a
so
breakthrough is people who comment about
this is nice to
"Oh,
like
online
validate it as
play,
like a
that's-
real
I don't want to
mainline
deal with having to play with
title.
other people. I don't want to
and not
develop
just the
relationships
MMO.
online." And that's actually a very large reason, if not the number one reason, many players kind of hesitate playing 14.
だから10年かけて MMORPG っていうジャンルじゃなくて、一人でもみんなでも遊べる RPG っていうジャンルにしたいと、14を。
So what I want to do here is spend the next 10 years and break out of that MMORPG category. I want this to be an RPG that can be enjoyed alone or with friends.
まずなので、7.0 でまでの間、フェイスシステムの大規模アップデートっていうのをやっていきます。
Bye bye
This,
squadrons.
this,
As a leader
yeah, this
to
is the next
7.0,
logical.
or
Well, no,
until that
squadrons are
time, we
unfortunately
will continue to
currently
make updates to the
tied
trust
to
system.
Grand Company rank,
Eh,
so
パッチ
they'll be
6.1
around for a little bit longer. They
6.5
just won't be
までの
expanded upon.
5つの
Which,
メジャー
by
パ
the
ッチ
way,
で全
thank
メインクエス
goodness,
トの
those
必須
things
アイ
were
ディと
awful.
4人用の
Well, yeah, but I
可能
mean,
性を
after
全て
after
フェイス対応
this
します
this all fully goes through, squadrons
So as
are
it
like
says here,
literally the only
trust
thing squadrons are
compatibility
for is
all main
for Grand
scenarios
Company
To get to
rank,
captain.
and for
Yeah, just to get to
player
captain, then
trials
you're done.
to be added in patch 6.1 through 6.5.
and even then, I think
まあ
they might
順次
they
な
might
のでね
they might change
パッ
that
チ
because
例えば
getting your
6.2
squadrons
とかを
up
見る
is
と
kind
中
of
途
a
半端な
bit
ところまでしか
convoluted.
対応されてないとか
Whoa,
いう
whoa, whoa,
こと
whoa,
が
whoa.
ある
Do
可
they
能性が
mean
高いんです
all
け
main
ど、
scenario dungeons? Like
そ
all?
れにね
Yep.
怯えているといつまで経ってもでき
That's
ないので全部
crazy.
一気には不可能なので
Oh man, I chose the wrong time to go through this from the start. I'm gonna have to do it again.
Time to
God
delete your character.
And start over again.
いう期間に当てさせてください。
No, I was just doing a retrospective.
And so, of course, these are going to be incremental implementation. And so you might look at, say,
Oh, does that
patch
mean early on we'll be able to
2.0
travel
and
with the Scions?
6.2, and you might notice that.
Does that mean
maybe not all
Arnvold
of the
gets to be a
dungeons
trust?
have
What a good boy
been
he is.
supported with a trust
hope
system
so.
compatibility. But if we are afraid to
Yeah, he would be
make
a trust
progress
in
and be just
what
in
is
the
it?
middle of work in a certain
Stormblood,
domain,
nothing
Drown
else.
City of Scala.
we won't
Yeah.
be able to make
Yeah.
progress. I think
Mm.
it's impossible to do everything at once.
Will
So we
Minfilia
are
get to
trying
use that
to
stupid bloody
address
mithril
this,
dagger she
as
makes
we
us
can,
melt?
and we're looking at this as a preparation for 7.0. And so we would like to ask for your understanding as we lay these foundations.
Oh,
Hey,
this
we'll
is
get Lisa-
huge.
we'll get
I'm
Lisa
surprised
the
they
trust.
want to.
パッチ 6.1 で
I-
は新生オールゼア編のうち、
I'm. This is
2.0
stunning to me.
範囲を全て
This is
対応し
really
ます
cool. They want it done this quick.
So the first implementation, patch 6.1, will make a Realm Reborn.
I mean,
that
I know
was
this isn't
just
like it'll
patch
be done in a month, but this is still
2.0
really fast
and
what
the
they're aiming for.
scenarios duty become trust
So that means
compatible.
Sastasha will
そ
have
して
it.
ですね
Copper
それに
Bell will
伴っ
have it.
て一部初期のですねメインクエスト
What's
ID
the
と
third
か
one in the
透滅戦もリニューアルし
in
ま
that
す
in that
Tamtara. Tamtara Deep
Tamtara.
Cross.
And then further
Tamtara will have
improvements will
it.
be made to
Total
some
Rock will have
low-level
it.
main
Hawk
scenario
Manor will have
dungeons
it.
and trials.
でちょっと
Brave
注意
Flocks.
なんですけど
Brave Flocks
will have it.
ストーンシュガルドに入ってから
Stone Vigil
8人透滅戦ストーリー上に出てくるあれらはちょっとやっぱり
there's
コスト
another
を
one
全
I'm
見積も
missing
りし
out.
たんですけど
Isn't
ど
there?
うしてもこう 6.1
No,
から
no.
There are a
6.5
couple
ま
we
で
haven't
の
named, but I'm
期間
trying to
で
think
は
of
対応
ones
しきれ
that
な
were
いの
like
で
mandatory.
8人の透滅戦
Is
あ
I don't
is
know.
is
Zero
Desmond
以降
Darkhold a
順次
side or
対応してい
a
くつもりで
story?
す
It's a side twice.
You may see the disclaimers on the
Yeah.
bottom.
Once-
but,
And
once
and
it's a
Arm
side
Veils
quest for-
Arm Veils a
eight
side as
player
well.
trials, especially those
Also twice, because both of those are
with,
given to you
the
once in
Heaven's Word expansion.
Krethis,
I'm afraid
and once
we
again
are
by your
unable
grand company.
to update it
Yeah.
at this
So,
time.
if you're
We
patient,
tried
you can do it just
to
the one time,
calculate
but
all the
realistically,
cost
you'll be
and the
running it twice.
resources that it would take for us to address all of this within that sort of 6.1 through 6.5 timing. But I'm afraid we would be unable to allocate the resources for it. So we will get to it after 7.0. Yeah, these updates will be considered for 7.0 or later.
まあもちろん
This is
皆さん
amazing.
ご存知の
I
通
can't
り
believe that they're
その
apologizing for not
通常
having
ねマッチング
the
が
amount
な
of
くなる
work
わ
that
け
this
じゃ
is
な
going
い
to
の
take
で
done by
あく
7.0.
までストーリーを
The fact that they have,
Yeah.
they plan to have it done
っていう
throughout the life
彼
cycle
の
of
企業なの
6.0
で
is
ル
astounding
ー
to
レットだ
me.
ったりねマッチングっていうところはそのまま継続していくのでそこは
Like, this isn't something I plan to make a lot of use of, but this is something
And of
that
course,
I have
we
a lot
don't
of friends
intend to do
who
away with the regular
100% will.
matching systems. Your leveling dungeons and queue matching in duty finders will still be active and available. These trust compatibility is primarily for those who
Yeah, and they're even thinking
have a
about putting
strong
it
desire to
into the
play
A player
through these story dungeons on their own.
Yeah.
player
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
trials.
え
So
とですね8人透滅戦は
Oh, this is gonna be
今回
excellent for content
透滅のフィナー
creators.
レでハイデリン透滅戦でテストケース
Or
と
at
して
least the
も
lore
含
side
め
of
て
things. I
や
imagine
った
most
んです
content
けど
creators actually
やれ
just
る
want
こ
to do
とは
stuff community related.
なんだろう確証を得られたんですけど、まあ、相当やっぱりコストがかかるっていうのと、ギミックから調整していかないといけ
Yeah,
ない
running through
っていうの
dungeons
も
the
あって
second time at my
まず
leisure,
は
just
数
being
の多
able to
い
soak
入りから優
in
先させて
the
いただいて
actual
ます。あと
lore
はね
would be
8人な
grand.
んで責任半のかかり方がちょっと減るんでやっぱり、
はいはいはい
まあここは逆にマッチングの面白さみたいなところも味わってもらいたいので一旦7.0 以降にさせてください。
And of course, with these 8 people trials or 8-person battles, we did try it out with the Mother Crystal trial, and we were able to see success as like a test case, but it did require a lot of resources for us to build it. And then if we were to start applying that system to existing dungeons, we'd have to adjust the mechanics so that it would accommodate for the trust system. So at this time, we made the decision to move forward with just the instanced dungeons. And with an 8-person trial, I think that sort of reduces the responsibility per person going into the match, hopefully. So we're hoping that players would still jump into like a duty finder and hopefully get the enjoyment out of matching up with random people. So at this time, we are unable to address it within the 6.1 through 6.5 period,
I'm
but
stunned
we
they
are
want to
looking to it
apologize
for
for this.
7.0
But
or
yeah, no,
later.
that's excellent.
でちょっと
Yeah.
注意なんです
I
け
think
ど
with their I wonder how big the team is that they're
まあどうしても
comfortable
フェイ
doing
スってい
this.
う呼び方をすると
Though I guess
暁とい
with
けんのかな
the completion
名があ
of
る NPC といけんのかなってイ
the
メージ
races,
が
because I
ちょっと
can't
強いんです
imagine
け
that
ど
we're going to see
あの
more
スト
races
ーリー
going
上
forward.
well, we
こう
you
Well,
still
the
have
female
the
version
female
of them.
しかい
Hrothgar.
けないか
Yeah,
ら
yeah, yeah.
そう
But I
Stuff
imagine
is
they're
all
more or
over.
less finished with that at this point, and they're just
みんな
tweaking it to make
いな
sure
くなった
it
りとか
works.
してたん
Hmm.
They
で
can't still be
あれ
working
ま
on
で
it
全部変える
now,
はさすがに無理
surely.
なので
I don't know.
特に
It's when you're
序
gonna
盤とか
announce
は
it.
あの
So we know
That's,
they're
yeah,
coming.
to be fair, they haven't officially renounced it. Announced it.
Renounced.
We,
kinda did.
we renounced female Hrothgar.
Hrothgar.
No, they haven't announced it officially yet, so fair enough.
And I want to make another point of caution here. Whenever we say trust compatibility, I think the thought that, oh, can we go into this dungeon with members of the Scions, or any sort of
Oh, call me out.
NPCs,
Just immediately, why
and
don't you?
some of these story dungeons have key players kind of leaving the scene, like where the Warrior of Light goes into a dungeon and say somebody goes up and say, "Oh, I'm going to take care of matters over there." We can't have them come back just to join you in the dungeon. So in those cases, especially the earlier dungeons, you will see your trust members as like members from the Adventurers Guild, or maybe other people who
Oh, that
have
makes
the-
sense. Yeah,
the
yeah.
Echo accompany you in these dungeons.
ただまあキーになる
Like,
ストーリー上のキーになる
I just got it in my head, and this couldn't happen because these characters have their own storyline that they have to like go through or whatever.
Don't say Edda and crew. Please
Yeah, I
don't.
was about to say Edda.
Don't
and
say
crew.
Edda. Don't say Aver. That's so sad.
まあ添えるように
People would
they
want
could-
to be able to save them.
They could do it for Sastasha, but they wouldn't be able to do it for
みたいなやつは
Todorok.
できる限りそういうシチ
Or
ュエーション
not
は
Tantara.
Theoretically, they wouldn't though, because that's a four-man group.
それもちょっと変更する部分があるかなとは思います
They hate each other, but it is a four-man
ご了承
group.
ください
Yeah.
But that being said, there are certain key points in the story.
No, so you could
where
bring Edda in here, but she's a
we
shit
do
healer.
understand players might have a very strong desire to have particular.
To be fair, as
NPCs
far as we know, she's a
in the
fine healer.
dungeon.
Aver's just too
So
hot-headed.
In
He ran
some
ahead,
True.
that's why
extreme
she
cases,
couldn't heal
not
him.
extreme cases, but like some key points, the team
He
will
ran ahead,
make
then lost
some
his head.
adjustments. We may have to
Ah.
change a part
Oh,
of the
no.
script so that it'll make sense for the character to join you. An example I can come up with off the top of my
Why are you
head
like
And the other
is
two are just
probably the
DPS, and we take no
Minotaur
responsibility
battle.
for what
I'm
happens
sure
in a
a lot of
dungeon.
people would have thought like, oh, it would have been nice to have Estinian join as part of the Trust NPC. So we're considering having that available. So there may be some content that accommodates for certain NPCs to join you. I'm afraid we can't address all of them. We can't make it happen with all of the dungeons. So
I'm
you're
surprised how
understanding
much
that
they're willing to
limitation.
give away thus far.
そしてですねごめんねちょっと長くて6.1 特集パート1の時にまた詳しくお話ししようと思いますが
This kind of feels like a FanFest level like
後
reveal.
半で結構今のレギュレーションと違ってしまってるこうダンジョンとかが多いのでかなり手が入ってますいろいろ
And of course, with the details of 6.1, we will have a dedicated live letter for that, and I will delve into details at that time. But I do want to mention that much of the content, especially in the later half of ARR, differ in how the regulation is set up. So there are changes that have been made.
まあ例えばトトラクとかの、ドゥーンってなってヘビースローがかかるヘビーがかかる床とかなくなってます
For example, like when you go into the Thousand Miles of Totorak, and you step on those like poison floors, and all of a sudden you are hit with heavy or slow, we're actually getting rid of that.
まああとは
Thank God.
ちょっと給付
God.
I missed that.
That
What was it?
So you know in Todorok that last area where the floor slows you and everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
They're getting rid of
They
it.
got rid of it.
Bless.
There are
No
also
longer
some
will we hear the
aesthetical changes
boom,
that
which
we
I
will
really
Bless.
hate. I hate
there are
that
certain
sound.
areas of the earlier.
I mean, at
parts
this
of
point, I'm pretty good at
14,
navigating it, but even
when we were trying to
still.
quickly just relaunch as a Realm Reborn. So there were areas where lighting may not have been 100% to what we would have been satisfied with. So we went back in and adjusted those as well.
そしてですねまあ他にもですね8人まあ8人パーティーバトルの一番最初であるビットアッティン教習戦なんですけど、なくなります
And then one of the first 8-person party battles that you encounter, I believe, is Camp Westwind. And I want to mention that we are doing away with that.
皆さん大ショックを受けておられる
We're talking my boy. They're massacring my boy.
武人として、身を挺してやってきた
I mean, to be fair, Ratatan is like the hardest encounter in the game, so it makes
8
sense.
人でフルボッコはいかがなものかということでですね、
はい
ちゃんとコストをかけてですね、クエストインスタンスバトルとして、
Now they're
生まれ変わりますので、
not massacring him.
Considering
I guess going to
is like
technicality, going to
the
buff him.
shield of the Garland Empire. I mean, he's technically not a captain, but like, I mean, he's like a very prominent figure. I think it would be very humiliating for 8 people to come in and just beat him up. So we actually allocated the resources to rebuild that battle so that it's going to be a quest instanced battle that you go in.
まあ他にも
Oh, we get to 1v1 him?
と呼ばれ
Nice.
ている8人ダンジョン、あれらもですね、今回すべて4人用 ID に作り直してあり
Yeah,
ます。
so he's getting a buff. He'll hit harder.
And then of course,
1v1 Cape
the
Wiswin.
Praetorium
No
and the
scions.
Castrum Meridin. Sorry, I can't
Meridianum.
pronounce it. Meridinanium. Meridinanium. Those very long Korean bases that you need to go. They were originally 8-person content, but we are going to be changing it so that these are 4-person instant dungeons.
Does that mean you're doing away with my gigantic
なので
EXP
アルテマの専門機器
roulette?
だって4人用と
My
して
like
シナリオを
guaranteed half a level?
Oh, they're squashing
で
them
あと
together.
ラハブレ
I don't know. I don't think they're squashing them together. I think Castrum
That's
are
2
the,
4-mans.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be 2 4-mans, and I think it'll probably still be in main scenario roulette.
クエストインスタンスバトルとして作り直しているので、
大工事です。
はい
And so your battle with Ultima, or the Ultima weapon, will be changed to a 4-person battle. We are adjusting the scenario mode for that. And then where you go in and silently beat up La Habrea, aka Thancred being possessed by La Habrea, is also going to be
Spoilers.
adjusted so that it's like an instance during a
Yeah,
story
he
time.
dies so quickly.
Yeah, so he's getting technically a buff too, because it's gonna be a 1v1 now.
できるだけ近づけられるように、いろんな回収をしつつですね、パッチ 6.1 から 6.5 にかけて
1v1, round 1 with Laha Bread.
4.x までの ID ですね、全部対応していこうと思いますので、よ
Round
ろしくお願いします。
So, yeah, in a nutshell, we are going in and making many adjustments so that it fits with, kind of follows suit better with how the game feels at this time. So, throughout patch 6.1 through 6.5, we will be looking at the various content up to the 4.x series, the different instance dungeon to make adjustments.
Straight to 4.0, eh? Okay.
さあ、では、こ
Well,
のセ
through
クション
4.0.
以上で次へ行きたいと思います。
Okay, so moving on to the next section.
Yeah, because 5.0 and on already has it.
2つ目の新しい挑戦ですね。この、6.1 から 6.5
You had
まあ
my...
7.0
So you have my
使って
attention
ですね
fully
ま
now.
ずまあ、貯金運営やっていく上で第一次の
Something we've been
グラフィックス
complaining
を
about for
裏で
years.
作業させていただきます
Yeah, well, watch out. You're gonna see a very cursed image come
So
up.
our second concept, and again,
What?
this is going to be the
You'll-
preparation that we
You've
will
probably
be
seen
doing
it.
throughout patch 6.1 through
You'll know.
6.5, leading up to the launch of 7.0. It is a long-term, or like preparations for long-term operation of the game, and we want to be doing this in the background, but we'll be preparing for our first graphics update.
ただ、まあ、なぜ第一次グラフィックスアップデートと言ってるかっていうと、
I'm so curious as to how they're gonna roll this out,
も
because
しかしたらってことなんですけど
like I want this to be all at once, but I also understand how unreasonable that is to ask of them.
アセットが存在してます。
Well, unfortunately,
So the
from
reason
what I
why
heard,
we
it's
named
not
this
going to be
the
an engine
first
level
graphical
update.
update, and that's of course to imply
Oh,
that there
really?
will
So
probably
we'll
a
we're still
second
going to have
or
spaghetti
third
code.
after this. But
I mean,
our
they've
game
managed so
has
far.
been in operation for about 11 years, and considering all the graphical assets we have produced, it's an insane amount.
やっぱり一気に極限まで上げようとすると、絶対コンバートミスがあったりとか、そもそもコンバートの物理時間が足りなくて、もうデザインチームが無理です、絶対できませんっていう答えになってしまうので、まあ、やれることを一回やって引き上げたら、 またその状態で安定が見えたら次のをやってっていう形で、まあその第1回目が来るんだというふうに思ってください。
And so, if we attempted to update every single piece of graphical asset or resource that we've put into the game all at the same time, we might run into issues of conversion errors, or it's just physically takes a lot of time to convert everything. And
Yeah, I bet.
consulting with the graphics team, they already know that we can't address everything all at the same time. And so, what we're trying to do is address these in phases so that we can test out certain elements, see how they work, and if it seems to be stable, we move into the next phase. And so I think with our first graphical update, this will be like the first time we start testing some of these elements.
4K グレープスでめっちゃ吹いたんだけど。
I saw a
4K
comment
grapes.
that says 4K,
Ha,
4K
he
grapes.
knows.
Thank you so much for that. That is hilarious.
あそこに 4K とかね、
You love it.
なんか40万ポリゴンとかかけてると、それこそ940みたいにキャラクター全然表示できねえぞってことになっちゃうので、まあちょっとこれから詳しく説明はしますよ。
That's hilarious, but like imagine spending so much resources just to get the grapes to be 4K resolution, and imagine
Why stop at
spending
4? Let's go the full 8.
just to depict a piece of fruit. We won't have
Let's go
enough
full on
resources
1.0
to
planters.
render our characters on screen. But let me
More
go into the
polygons than player
details.
characters.
そ
1.0
の
all
グ
over
ラフィッ
again.
クスアップデートは一気に、7.0 での投入を予定してます。
So again, these graphical updates are intended to be implemented in 7.0.
まあその次期拡張パッケージまでの間っていうのを、まあ僕らのそのグラフィックスのアップデートのシェーダー追加したりとか、いろんなものを追加していくテスト期間だったり、プログラム期間だったり、それに合わせたグラフィックスアセットのコンバート期間というふうにさせてください。
So until 7.0, this will be again our preparation period. So this is where our team will be testing out various additions to the graphical elements, including different shaders. We'll probably need to write more programs. This is where when we're going to be doing our asset conversions, etc.
で、ここが重要なんですけど、あくまでやっぱりマルチプレイのゲームであるっていうのをぜひ覚えておいてほしくて、
What does that mean? Screen-wide?
画面全体の美しさ、9番から申請した時に
Tell me more.
感じていただいたように、やっぱり総合的な美しさ、世界の美しさっていうのを追求していきますよと、コンセプトとしてはね。
And of course, one key point that we want players to understand is that this is still a multiplayer game. And so we want to strive for the aesthetic quality of the overall picture and looking at the sort of beauty or the element, aesthetically pleasing sort of overall picture.
だって、
So,
まさに
lighting?
ね、発売されたホライゾンの
Textures?
さ、クオリティでさ、動くと思われたら困るわけだよ。
Hmm?
あれで俺たち300人とか描画しなきゃいけないんで、いや
No more
できるんだけ
weird-
どみんなの
No more
PC
weird, like really low res gold decorations on
I
clothing
see
anymore?
games like Horizon Forbidden West, and I don't want to get people to think that we'll raise our graphic quality to that. It's amazing.
Okay, they
yes,
fucked with me
but
for a second. Like,
imagine
why are
having
you
like
bringing up
300
Horizon?
different
What?
characters on screen at the same time at that quality, and it's not physically impossible. But then I don't think it's gonna run on anybody's PC.
そこは覚えといてね、みんなね。
I'm willing to sacrifice my
So
PC
please,
for the
please
cause.
keep that in mind.
ここをね、なんか勘違いされるのが一番怖い。
That's the scariest thing for people to kind of misconstrue.
で、当然なんですけど、アニメーションとか、まあその世界全体、画面全体の美しさっていうところに、やっぱりアニメーションとかライティングシステムっていうのも大きく寄与していると思うので。
Right, it makes sense that the
この辺りも
minimum
アップデートしていきます
specs are going to have to be raised for this.
And of course, considering the
And admittedly, 14's playable on a lot
overall
of things that I wouldn't
aesthetic,
expect it to be playable on.
animation is going to be a key
Well,
element.
playable
We're looking
comfortably,
at,
I should say.
Lighting is another
Yeah.
element that we want to
Yes,
adjust as
lighting, yes.
まあ例えばアニメーションに使っている、よくねメモリがって言われますけど、メモリの割り当てをちょっと増やすことによって今までより長尺のこうエモートモーションが作れるとか、あとまあそのライトの数が増えることで実は潰れていたバックグ
I like
ラウ
that
ン
this
ドの
states
ディ
that
ティール
this
が
won't
よ
be
り見える
comparable
で
to
リ
16 that'll
ソー
come
スに
out
手を加え
later.
なくて綺麗に見える
Yes.
So don't even try.
So what we mean by different updates to animation and lighting systems is, for example, I know people would automatically start talking about,
Ooh,
oh yeah,
animation updates,
memory
yes, yes,
issues
yes.
with animation. So if we
Do you run cycles? Do you walk
revisit
cycles?
some of the allocation
Please
of
just
the
Just
memory
delete
for
all Elven
animation,
animations and
it
make them
might
new
allow
because
us
they're
to
bad.
create emotes with a longer animation loop, or with lighting. They're just having
And
more lights
give us
than we had
Bard's
originally set up
backflip
would allow
AoE.
for details that would have been sort of washed out or like not visible because of insufficient lighting to kind of show up, and so that will allow for an
You change your
improvement
depth to
in
look
the
like
graphical
what
quality without us even
that
having
old
to
ability,
adjust the elements that are
or
already
whatever
in the
the
game.
fucking AoE ability is
まあ
called.
重要なところです。
はい。
スタンドアローンのゲームクオリティにはなりません。
うん
これをですね、皆さん頭にすり込むためにもですね、寝る前に必ず一度復唱していただきたいぐらい。
And again, very important point. I want to stress again, the new graphics will not be comparable to those of standalone titles. This is again very important. I want you to remember it. I want you to repeat it before you go to bed. That's how much I want people to remember.
まあとはいえ、やっぱりグラフィックスいろいろ
This will not
手を
look
入れて
like
パ
Final
フォ
Fantasy
ーマンスというか
16.
ね、処理はより動作が重くなる
By the way,
よう
look
にする
forward
の
to
で
What
Final
if
Fantasy
it
16.
did?
動作保証
Yeah,
スペック
seriously.
がまあ変わる
More
の
to
で
come on that
です
later.
ただできるだけ多くのスペックにね対応できるっていうところはこれまでのポリシーでもあるので、捨てずにやっていきたいと思ってます。
So that being said, we do want to update the graphics for sure, and so that means your processor might require more power in order to
More
to render
power.
these graphics properly or like efficiently. So we will probably have to update the system requirements for your machines and your PCs. We will try our best to accommodate for as many models of machines to accommodate with the changes, but we do want to make you aware that it is pretty much guaranteed that we will have to update the system requirements.
でやっぱり気になるプレイステーション4なんですけど、この 6.x 期間中に、先行投入すると思いますけど PS4 版の最適化をやっていきます。
And I know people are wondering about PlayStation 4 support as of 7.0. I think what's going to happen, and this will probably be done prior to the launch of 7.0, so sometime within the 6.x series, we do want to
Ooh,
optimize the PS4 version for sure.
Apparently,
で
Daigo's trying to
その
delay the announcement
さら
as
に
long
で
as
す
he
ね
can.
まあ
So
PC 版
I
にあるよ
heard,
うに
but
グラフィックスオプションのカスタムって
my eyes
映
are
像版
currently
少
on
な
the
いんですけど あれ
prize.
を増やして
That
みて
prize
新
is
しいその描
even
画とか入れ
better
ると重くなる
animations
部分
and
があるので
graphics
重くても
and
綺麗にいいや
lighting
と
and
人はプレイして
shadows
もらえばいいん
and
だけど、まあ、オフにして
tell me
フレームレー
more.
トを優先
Show me
する
something.
みたいなことができるように
And
してい
I'm
くの
pretty
で
sure the
PS4 の
next
サポートって
the
いう
next
のも
picture
少な
they're
くとも
going to show is
7.0
pretty
のタイミン
cursed.
グではしっかりやりますので
So, and on top of that, there are various graphical configurations that you can set up on the PC version. Like you can customize some of the like display options, and we understand that it's a bit lacking in the PS4 version. So we do want to implement options in the configuration so that you can select like prioritize frame rate, or if you
Good,
want
good,
to,
good, 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 good,
if
good.
you're okay with
I think that'll always be a
performance kind
really
of
safe thing to
dropping
consider.
slightly, but still have the graphics performance, then you can select that option, whatnot. So I do want to assure you that we will continue supporting for PS4. At
It's
least
nice to
until
hear that one
7.0.
one version just won't be gimped.
There it is. Oh, it's so cursed.
It's a little cursed. I don't think it's that bad, to be
みん
honest.
などう思う
What, it looks like he's been
Reactions now.
his His skin's a little yellow and his lips are a little pale. I don't like that, but I do like the concept of it. I love that.
Some people think, oh, is that me?
そうそうそうなんかさ多分ね
I know the more I look at it, the less I like it.
これじゃ
Yeah.
ないよね多分
It kind of looks like
求めてるの
some sort of jelly. Slap
I
it.
don't think this is what we are looking for. This is not what we desire.
なん
Good.
か疲れてる
Are they regretting it as soon as on
Oh,
screen
man.
too? Is that why they're having their
This is like a very
reactions? Like,
tired Yoshida.
now that
Because-
we look at it, also.
でしょ
You know, we like this until this very moment. You know, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank goodness.
まあここ
Oh, thank God.
バランス
Okay. I was worried there for a
We
moment.
aren't going to be working to make it look this real.
That said, if you could fix the hair and make the hair look better, I'd be
まあいわゆる
well
フォ
happy
ト
with
リアルを
that.
追求していくとグラフィックスアップデートってこっちに行きがちなんですけど、おそらくファイナルファンタジー14の世界やキャラクターが気に入ってくだ
Oh,
さ
I
る
can't wait for that face to be like taken through all of the face app
I know,
Um,
right?
things.
Of
Yeah, all those
of
mods.
course, their intent is to lean towards that photorealistic depiction, and people tend to lean
Time to
in
make
this
an
direction.
NFT
But
of
I
it.
think for those who enjoy the aesthetic of Final Fantasy
Behave.
XIV, this is not necessarily what we want to begin with.
では、今そのグラフィックスアップデートって実はテスト開発もスタートさせてるんですけど、テストスタートしてからまだ1ヶ月と1週間ぐらいなんですね。
So with these graphical updates, we are already starting testing actually, and it's been about a month and a week.
なのでその1ヶ月
Yeah.
と1週
Listen to
間
that. They've only been
ぐらい
working
テストをし
working
て、
at it
これだった
for
ら
a month and a
もう
week right now.
今出しても
As of
まあ
right
いけ
I'm
るだろう
surprised they're willing to even talk about
こ
it
れ以
then.
上目指す
Wow,
んだけ
okay.
ど、まあ少なくとも一旦お見せしてもここまでは間違いなく大丈夫であると 7.0 でっていうのを用意してきたんでちょっと見ていきましょうか。
And so we are still very early in our testing stages, again, about a month or so testing, but we do have results that we're seeing that is, of course, we're going to aim higher than what we're going to be showing you, but I think it's coming out pretty nicely and we are relatively confident. So let us show you some of these images.
こちらがですねテスト期間1ヶ月目のサンプルです。キャラクターですねまず。
Like, how much better that looks.
So from first month of testing. So
Yeah,
this
that's
is
better.
one of the samples.
これ左が今
Yeah, we take these.
右がテクスチャーをハイレゾリューション化してます。髪の毛も含めて。であとシェーダーを、1枚入れてます。
And so what you're seeing is the current image on the left, and then on the right,
Our boy
we've
got a
made the
nose
God,
job.
it
textures,
does
high
make the hair look so
resolution,
much better.
And we've added
Yep.
a layer of shaders.
あと、セルフシャドウって言って自分の髪の毛の影が顔に落ちた時まあその自分の
It looks
プロジェク
good.
トが
I
自分
still
の影を
think
落とすのをセルフシャドウ
the lips look a bit
そこも
sickly, but
調整して
that's
るので
fixed with
結構
color.
セルフシャドウ実はすごい気になっててカットシーンとかでも
And one thing that we did pay attention to was the self shadow, or whenever there's like an object that drops the shadow on yourself. Especially if you look at the
Just look at the
bangs and
pix. Look how
shadow
many
it casts
pixels are in like the
underneath it.
fucking left one.
That was something that I was
The-
kind of
the pixels and
wanted to
polygons that is
address,
just in the nose.
looking at the cutscenes in the past.
And the right one looks
でまあ
just
これ
a
1
hell of
ヶ
a lot
月目
more
のサンプ
smooth.
ルなので
Well,
もっと
yeah,
上
that's
目
the
指せるとは
shaders
思
and
ってるん
stuff.
ですけど
Yeah.
動作補
That's
正
because
あまり
14
にも
doesn't
僕に合わない
currently have
っていう意味では
any
今言ったの
Yeah,
は
yeah,
見せ
yeah.
できるのはここまで
Like
まあこの上
non-existent.
さらにいろんなことをやった上で最適化していってまあやれる
Looks
より高いところ
cool.
は目指していこうかな
It does look very good, yes.
So of course we do want to strive for even better, but at this time I think from 1 month of testing and making sure that the game itself runs properly, I think this is what we
Ooh.
can show at this time, and then we'll continue to test and we'll continue to sort of improve and then apply optimization.
You can just see how much better it is with the eyes.
いわゆる広
The
島
eyes on the
Yeah.
left one.
Yeah,
look
the eyes do
dead.
look
They
great.
look, they look dead, and then like in the
Sorry,
right one, it's
they're
just
blander?
like there's life in those eyes.
Yeah,
でちょっと見こっての
they
サンプ
actually
ル
look
です
like there's moisture on them
Yeah.
Here's a
eyeballs.
sample of the mikote.
まあ戦月賞のボケ具合が、
うん
まあなくなったりですね、髪の毛の柔らかい
God, those eyes really do
カールの
pop.
印象とかがちゃんと出てるのと、まあセルフシャドウがボケてないんでね、綺麗にかかるようになります。
Of course, you may notice the face paint. The war paint is a lot crisper now. And then, as mentioned earlier, self shadow is nicer. I think it's brings out the softness of her face.
Also, it
これ
looks
が
like she
大体
actually
1
has
ヶ月
nostrils in the right
目
one.
だっていうのをぜひ認識しておいてください。
Again, just to remind you, this is after testing for about a month.
It kind of looks a little bit more mean on the left one, on the right one.
はい。まあこの方向
Bit
性
more of
で
a
良さ
sterner
そ
look.
うよね、やっぱりね。
うん
みんなのコメント見てる
Because
と
the brow ridges,
Looking at everybody's comments, it seems like
shadows are
we
cast
are on the right track
more
in terms
accurately
of
on the
like
brow
the
ridges.
direction we want to take it to.
そうですね。Yeah, it looked like
でララフェルがね、一番難しいんですよ。
And
The
the
eyes really
manga
make a
was actually
difference,
quite
though.
challenging.
Yeah.
They really do. They pop so
なん
hard
か
now.
リアルにするところがなくて。
Now we get to watch Anonimo cry in high definition.
There, no areas
How
really to
dare
make
you,
it
Ah.
sir?
quote-unquote realistic, you know?
And Taro.
まあでも髪の毛綺麗に
Yeah,
なるん
when
で、
she
目
cries,
の
it's very
周りは
sad.
ものすごく鮮明になって、まあキャラメイクしておけば
And it immediately makes the hair
い
look
ろんな
better.
パターン作れると思うんで
I'm sure they haven't even tinkered with the lighting too much. It somehow already
But
looks
I think
better.
the
And this is
hair has
already just
definitely
a month.
gotten more defined,
month of
and
work.
then the
I love it. I
eyes,
love it. I love
has
it.
become very crisp. And it
Again,
looks a
actually,
lot more
Lalafell
alive,
actually
so
look
to
like they have
speak,
noses.
and with being able to
Oh yeah, huh?
character create, I think it'll have like it will allow for players for a broad range.
そうね、肌の感じをどこまでなんだろう、本当にツルツルにするのか、ララフェルは。こう少しそうは言ってもちゃんと肌っていう感じ
Also, the hair,
出す
the
のかは結構
ribbon,
ね
ribbon in the
調
hair
整が
looks a lot
難しいと
better
ころだとは
too.
思ってるので、ただ皆さんが
Well, that'll be
Yeah.
because it's a
方
reflective
向性を理解
surface
する
now.
つもり
Yeah,
やいやい
look how
しっ
plain
か
the
り所
plain.
属ごとに
Like genuinely,
Fabric looks.
like more than a graphical update. If you just
And
adjust the
it's a
lighting, it's going to do
challenge
a
to figure out how
whole
do
lot.
we
Now that said,
depict the
I
surface
would
of
love,
their
I would
skin.
love a
Do
full-on
we
graphical
make
update.
it
So I'm so pleased that
completely,
we're
like,
getting this.
flawless, spotless, or do we actually give it some texture to make it look like skin? We want to believe
modders
that
are gonna
we
go ham in
understand
7.0.
what the players are looking for, but it is something
Either
we
that
still
or
need to
well, no, because you said
explore.
the code isn't going to
なん
change.
て言ったってね
So yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah, they
the code's
will.
not gonna change.
このリリース
Yeah,
の
they
ステージです
will.
皆さんが
Yeah,
求める方向
there's
は
only
理
only
解して
so
いる
much you
つも
can
りで
do
は
with the
あります
with the
はい
base stuff that they have in the
But
game.
again, we've been with you guys for about 11 years at this time, so we want to believe that we understand what the players are looking for.
ですいません、ちょっとテスト1ヶ月目ということでですね、キャラクターサンプルとしては以上になります。またなんだろう、途中でね、ファンフェスのタイミングとかあればまた途中経過とかね、お知らせしていけたらなと思ってます。
So yeah, because we are still in the early stages of testing. As for character samples,
Yeah, the hair
that is
looks
all
better,
that we
the
have
eyes
at
look
this
better, the
time.
lips
We're
pop,
hoping
even
that
on
we
a
can
Lalafell, which
continue
is
to
impressive.
update everybody
Yeah.
on
The ears look
status.
deeper.
Perhaps maybe next time we can do it at like a fan festival.
The
or
darks are
something like
darker,
that.
lights are
改めて
lighter.
ですね、その
Well,
キャラ
like
クター
lights
ま
are
ず
also
グラフィックス
highlights
第
are
一次
also a
グラフィッ
bit
クスアップ
darker,
デー
but
トで
still
キャラ
good.
クターに関する表現のアップデート項目をお知らせしておきます。
Okay, so just wanted to recap all of the different elements that we look to update for our first set of graphical updates in terms of characters.
まずですね、全体的にテクスチャーを高解像度にしていきます。髪とか肌とか、それから今日ちょっとねご紹介できてないですけど、装備品のテクスチャーの解像度も上げていきます。
So first one would be higher resolution textures, which includes hair, skin, and we weren't able to show any examples today, but we do want to improve the textures of the gear as well.
でさらにですね、これはシェーダーと呼ばれる、処理になってくるんですけど、質感の表現というのを向上させていきます。例えば肌、それから装備品の金属部分、あと布って、布用のシェーダーっていうのが実はあって、Q14 では入れてたんですけど、重すぎて外してるんですね。 そろそろいけるだろうということで、布がもう少し滑らかに布っぽく見えるっていうシェーダーなどを今、研究トライしているところです。
And then the next item, and this is relating to various shaders, shader processing, which is improved material qualities, of course, skin, metal, and fabric. It's interesting because in the 1.0 or like the old version of Final Fantasy 14, there was a shader or like a process that was just applied to fabric so that it would look the textures would the texture quality would look like fabric, but it was too
Ooh.
heavy of a load on processing, so we had to remove it in the relaunch.
That's understandable.
But we're testing various ways to see if we can apply something like that to make fabric a bit
That would be
more
great.
smoother and
That,
more
you know, Flower Pots
fabric-like.
had the same
And
amount
we're
of,
still kind of researching and
Yeah, it was a bit
trying out
problematic, that.
various methods.
そしてですね、キャラクターに対してのライティングとシャドウの強化というのもやっていきます。特にね、見栄えに直結しやすいこうセルフシャドウに関してはすごくずっと気になってたんで。
And then again, lighting and shadow, better lighting and shadow effects, especially for the player's shadows.
まあさっきもお話しましたけど、できるだけプレイヤーの皆さんの今のキャラクターに持ってるイメージっていうのが変わらないように、綺麗になったな俺のキャラって思ってもらえるようにしていきたいと思ってます。
Of course, again, our goal is
Yeah,
to
so there
make
will be
it so
stuff
that
updated
the overall
in the
appearance of
game,
player
and there will be
characters
also stuff
will be
that
altered
isn't
as
updated in
little
the
as
game.
possible. We
I
want
mean,
you
that's
guys
that's
see
to
the
be
graphical updates
to be
and think,
expected.
Oh wow, my
Yeah.
character's
Like,
become pretty.
there's so much for them to cover if they do this.
まず一つ装備品。信じられない数
Like everything will be
アセットがあ
updated
るので
at some
あ
point
れ
in
を
time, but
7.0 までに
it's
全
got
部
it's
コ
going
ン
to be
バートす
rolled
るのは
out
不可能です
in
So 2 points of caution.
separately.
The gear, we mentioned about updating the material quality of gear, but you know, there's an incredible, unbelievable amount of gear available for all of our player characters. And considering we'd have to convert them all, we will not be able to get through converting all of the gear by the 7.0 timing.
Yeah, that's
ところで
entirely
0.0
reasonable.
で新しく実装されている装備っていうのは全て今回のグラフィックスアップデートを経た内容で作っていきます。なのでクオリティがより高いもので全部用意するつもりです。
So any gear that is implemented from 7.0 will have gone through the process of the updated graphics. So of course those will be of the higher quality.
ただし、できる限りこうプレイヤーの皆さんがミラプリとかをしておしゃれによく使っているものに関してはちょっと優先的にできる限り対応をして、またパッチ 7.x シリーズで徐々にその古い装備っていうのも新しい仕様に少しずつこう対応していけるようにっていうふうに思ってますので、ちょっと数年がかりで全体が上がっていくことにはなるかと思いますが、よろしくお願いします。
But we understand that there are certain glamours that people use often. So we want to look at those and try to get those done with a higher priority in terms of like which to get to. And throughout
They're gonna
the
look at
7.x series is when we
they're gonna have a
will
spreadsheet
address
of all the
rest
shit
of
that's
previous,
in glamour dressers right
equipment
now,
or
all right?
gear. So
And they're
afraid it
gonna
will
look and see
take,
what
at
items
least a few
are
years
in most
to
glamour
address all
dressers or
of the
whatever,
different
and they're like,
textures.
we need to update this first.
You know,
and this.
genuinely, if they had the ability to do that, that wouldn't be the worst idea.
I'm pretty sure they do have the ability because it's all stored on the server.
The other thing are the NPCs.
True.
I know we talked about updating the player characters and the graphics
Yes,
on those,
please.
but
Update the
I'm
pretty
afraid we're
people we
not
have to look
gonna be
at.
able to address all of the NPCs by 7.0.
申し訳ないんだが
Grand Company Leaders,
クオリティの高い
Scions.
It won't happen
And
until
body
7.x
まだ
onward, though.
なんて順番が回ってこない NPC
Look, man, I will
が出て
wait.
しまうと思うんですけど、
Yeah.
ちょっとそれも許していただけると助かります。
So I'm terribly sorry to say this, but you may start seeing NPCs that have gone through the graphical updates and those that have not gone through the updates. But please, your understanding would be appreciated.
これをね全部やれって言うといやもうじゃあ、グラフィックスアップデートやめましょう無理です無理ですってなっちゃうんでちょっとちぐはぐっていうのが出ちゃうタイミングがあるとは思うんですけどそれをやっぱり承認していかないといつまで経ってもできないと思ってるのでちょっと許していただけるとなのでちょっとイルベルドはまだ後でいいかみたいな
So like important will be
And
updated. Like
if
the
I were
grand
to tell
company
my
leaders will
team
most
that,
likely be
okay,
updated.
we need to
'cause
do
they're-
everything, then
Anything plot
people are
relevant
just
has
gonna
to be
throw in the
updated.
towel and,
Yeah.
and be like,
Yeah.
no, this is
First.
impossible. So I'm afraid there will be times at which not all of the NPCs will have gone through their graphical updates, and it might look a little disoriented or disjointed. But if I don't allow for that to happen, we won't be able to get to it. So again, if you could forgive us for
Yeah, that's a fairly realistic
going through
take.
that would be
Yeah.
appreciated.
There's going to
Like,
be like
it
growing
would, like,
pains.
not get his graphical update as quickly as maybe like the Sultana, but
テレジアデレジはっていうお声が結構あるんですよただですね残念なんとテレジアデレジって
Now leave Teleji for
プレイヤー
last.
の
Yeah,
なん
he's
だろう
gonna get,
キ
you
ャラ
know.
メイクで作られ
He
てる
gets axed anyway.
僕らが手を下さずともあいつ勝手にクオリティ上がってしまう可能性が高い
some people are asking, oh, but what about Telegy Adelegy? And I realize his expression is part of the parts that you can select when you're creating your character. So because we're updating the player character facial parts, Telegy Adelegy is going to have his graphical updates already. So he may
Ah.
give an
Nice.
instruction to those NPCs.
He's so generic that,
まあ
yeah,
というわけ
it'll
で
be
プレイ
fine.
ヤーベースで組まれてるものはね必然的
なるほどね
にそうなるんですけどまあナナモさんとかはねやった方がいいかなとは思ってるんですけど、ちょっとまだ精査まではしきれてないのでちょっとそういう状態が出るとは思うんですけどよろしくお願いします
So yeah, any characters that are built based on facial parts or body parts that are available for players to utilize will probably
Harsher Font might actually
be
then.
updated simultaneously with like
mhm.
player
Yeah.
character
His
graphics.
last moments, he looks
But
so
there are certain
pretty.
key NPCs
But
that
alas.
we're also looking
Why
at.
you gotta be so
But
maybe
alas.
Sultana,
so
but
rough?
we have yet to sort of
Darling.
assess.
Can you be more
and we
gentle
will
about
continue
this?
To sort of explore
Darling.
the options.
Heaven's word.
Don't.
The
で
vault.
まあ
The
ちょっ
vault.
と今日お見せした
He's-
の
he'll
は
be- he'll be a
繰り返しになり
trust
ますが
member.
テストをスタートしてまだ
Yeah,
ちょっと
we're going to be with him right
Oh,
up until the
no.
moment.
クオリティの向上
That's
Because
gonna be
who
more
is it?
impactful, actually.
含めてですねテストを続行していきます
Oh, man.
Extra sad.
I can never run the vault as a tank. Fair. Understood.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, what we showed you was only about a month or so of testing. So
That's
we're
crazy.
hoping
This is a
to
month of
provide you with more
testing. They're
updates
not
as
even
they
sure
Yeah.
come.
this is the way they want
Perhaps
to
in other
go.
races, perhaps we can provide you an update with gear, etc. in the not so far future.
でそうだなあとは結構コメントであったんです
I
けど
don't really expect them to get around to gear because there's so much gear,
どうにもならない
so much
物理エンジンを
backlog to
入
go
れて
through.
They'll-
Like I imagine you hit what's recent going forward, and you just deal with the fact that the older stuff looks the way it does.
You're gonna have
well-
to, 'cause there's no way
well, like-
you'll have time.
Well, like they said, anything 7.0 and onwards will go through the process, but they're gonna look at the gear that everybody likes to glamour with, the most,
Glamour items,
and
yeah,
start
sure.
with that. And start
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
I'm also
That's the
seeing
best thing.
comments about.
That's why I
can
was
you do
saying they're gonna
something
have a
about,
spreadsheet
like,
of what's in
gear or
everybody's glamour
equipment or,
dresser,
like,
whatever-
player characters
whatever's
or
mostly
body
in
parts,
everybody's glamour
interfering
dresser,
with
they're gonna hit
graphics
with
of
first.
gear, equipped gear, and I'm afraid that is something that we cannot address fully. We would have to put in a physics engine in there, and that would cause for some of the characters to kind of not move properly.
You're talking about
anymore.
clipping, by the way.
And plus, I, as the director, have allowed.
I don't know. I
for
really
those,
don't mind clipping.
imperfections
Oh yeah, I
to
don't care about
team.
clipping either.
I'm afraid we're just
Like,
moving
I
on
feel like
with it,
this is
or
not
else
something that
we
they should
won't be able to
constrict
keep the pace
themselves
in
to having
releasing
to
these
deal
different,
with.
gear and the different designs that is available.
Give the
So
people their
I'm
long
afraid
hair,
we
give the people
are
their
unable
puffy
to address
jackets,
it
and if the
fully
clipping
to
happens,
match
that's on
something
them.
that of a like a standalone game. Sorry.
さあでは次はですね、ちょっと BG、マップに関わるところもテスト1ヶ月ちょっとのサンプル持ってきました。
Okay, we
By the
have
way,
more
this is
samples,
also
though.
only
This
a
time
month
it's
of
for
testing
various backgrounds
when it
and
comes to
like
like
map
lighting and
elements.
まずこれは単純に、テクスチャーとかに何も手を入れずに配置できるライトの数
Well,
を
it's
増
currently
や
just
す
in
っ
the
てい
current,
う
so I
テ
can.
ストのサンプルです。
It looks
So this
great.
first image
Oh
is
boy,
a
Studium
test
looks
of
wonderful.
just simply the number of lights we can place in a certain scene without it touching any of the textures or surfaces.
配置ライト数をですね、複数増やすとこんな感じになります。
So we just added a few more
Look
lights
at
in a particular
that.
scene, and
Looks so
the,
much
what
better.
you see is in the right side of the image.
That's really
ライ
nice.
トがで
I
すね、
like
遠くに
that.
左側ね、一灯しか焚けないので、ちょっと見てほしいのは、
God, look
手
how
前
it
側
interacts
に
with
あ
the
る
wall
デ
in
ス
the
ク
tree.
に影がほぼ落ちてないのが、
Yeah, like
右側
because like it doesn't make
複数
sense. You see the
ライ
lights
ト
in
の
that
影が
in
出
the
るようにな
in
っ
the
てます。
structures on the left side, right? All right,
So if
but
you
they
look
don't
at the
ref-
one
they
on
don't
the
they don't
left,
they don't
we
hit the
were
they don't
only
hit the
able to
surface of the
place
walls.
one light
But in
I
the
mean,
in
that's
the right one
fine.
they
I don't
do.
But
ever.
in the
This
picture
is
on
kind
the
of something
right,
that
we were able to
I didn't
place
think
multiple
about
lights
because I
to
understood
give it
that
a
it
more
was a
realistic
limitation.
look. And as you can see, the desk is now casting a shadow.
まあ当然分かりやすく上の方にライトさらに1灯追加されてるので、まああそこまで作り込んでたのにライトが当たらないことによって全部黒で潰れちゃってたのが、
Yeah, Dust
ま
does
あ
have
し
a
っかり
shadow.
見えてくるようになるので、これね多
Yeah,
分
not
プレイ
just global
じっくり
lighting,
見て
backlighting,
いないとという
environmental
か
lighting,
受け
very
る
nice.
雰囲気が変わるので、これによって。
And of course, I think one of the key changes that you can see is because we were able to place a light directly on top, you're able to see some of the details that would have been kind of hidden behind a shadow. And so I think with allowing for more lights to be placed, it will kind of give you a better impression of some of the atmosphere in some of these locations.
でさらにですね、こちら今の現在の状態のティターニアですね。
Next, you see Titania in their current state.
でこれはシャドウです。シャドウのテストをお見せします。
So this is where we tested out how shadows appear.
まあ影に使ってるテクスチャーの改造。
Are you kidding me? That looks
これ
amazing.
ぐらい
Yep.
くっきり見えていくように。
Like, forget the shadows. Look at the
So
lighting
this
in
is
that
where we tested
room.
the texture as well as the calculation formula behind how we're displaying the shadow underneath Titania.
You can
And
actually
we
see her
believe
face
that
and
we were able
everything.
to improve the quality and the resolution up to what you see on the right.
Their
image.
face.
さ
Oh,
らにですね、これ
their
複
face,
数ライ
right.
トも置いてみて
That is
で
lovely, that
もう
is.
今の14だと左の環境しか作れないんですけど、複数ライトをさらにカラー変えたりしていくことで、右のようにね、かなり複雑なライティングの絵作りっていうのができていくようになります。
And as you can see, we have multiple lights again in this updated picture, and then plus we put some colored lighting. So the background is exactly the same, and it was actually quite intricately built, but by having these different sort of lighting available to shine on it, you can see the complex details that was part of the structure.
ちなみにこれ
Looks so good.
左のティタニアのストーリー的には左の雰囲気がいいなって言ってるコメントがあるんですけど、
はい
実はこの状態をさらにグレードアップさせたバージョンを BG チーム作ってきたんです、サンプルとして。
ほうほう
ただ開発者目線で見ないと分かんないからライトの色を赤とかにして複数ライトが混ざってるっていう環境を作ってくれって言って僕がわざわざデザイナーがセンスよく統一してきたものをバラしたんで、
なるほど。
デザイナーのセンスじゃないので、これね
なる
僕のプレゼン用だと思ってください。
でも
デザイナーの名誉のために言っとき
デ
ます。
モ用ですね。
はい。
One thing I do want to clarify because somebody pointed out they liked the look of the original Titania, where it has that sort of mood with all the muted colors. Yoshida I want to point out that this is the developers actually brought to me an example of what improved graphics would look like with that stayed within the color palette of the original picture, but that's very much in the developer's perspective, and I wouldn't be able to tell the difference of what has improved. That's why I had requested my designer to intentionally place red lights, something that's more obvious, just to show an example. So don't worry, this is not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to like destroy the atmosphere. The designer was
I don't
very
know. I
mindful
kind of
about
like the
keeping
red
the tone
lights.
of the story, but I wanted
I like the
a
warm
more,
atmosphere,
like,
though I get
overt
it
example.
thematically
So
for
just
this.
wanted to
I-
clarify that.
Yeah.
でここでちょっとね特に注目してほしいのが画面右の奥、上の方に見えてるステンドグラスのあたりをちょっと見ていただきたいんですけど
And one part that I do want to point out, if you look at the upper part of the image, where the stained glass is,
これ左と右マップのポリゴンは何も変わらないんですね。テクスチャー解像度も変わってないです。
so just reiterating that we have not changed any of the polygons that are in the map layout. We did not improve any of the textures here.
なのでライトを変える複数置けるようになる
Lighting
んだ
goes
け
a
ど
long way
実
to give
は
that
BG アーティス
feeling,
トた
though.
ちがこだわって作っていた箇所っていうのがより明確にちゃんと見えるようになるんですよ。左は全部影で潰れてるんですけどもともとちゃんと凹凸あるんですね。
And so this is what I'm trying to show with this image is that by being able to place multiple lights in a scene, we are able to showcase the details that our background artists have put into the structure. So above these stained glass, you might see these sort of like tiered sort of molding on top. And the picture on the left, it makes it unnoticeable because it's kind of drowned in the shadows. So by being able to place multiple lights, we're able to accentuate those details that our background team has put into the structure.
ちなみにバックグラウンドアーティストたちはライトの追加をやっていこうって言ったらめっちゃ喜んでました。
Man, yeah, it looks great. At least now understanding that this isn't like
So when we were
what it's going to
talking
be, but even
about
so, just
adding
the
multiple
way that they're
lights,
going
the
about it
background
looks
team
wonderful.
definitely
And
had a
shadow
very,
resolution is actually
strong
crazy
reaction
high,
to
even though
that.
that's one of the first things
さあで
I
次は
myself
です
turned
ね
down.
こちらは金属表現をその質感を上げますというサンプルになります。
So next sample we want to show you is how we depict like the texture of the metal.
こちらもですねデザイナーの趣味というより
Of
は
the
ですね
metal.
悪趣味なぐらい変えてくれって言ってるのでそれをご承知おきください。
And of course, this again is supposed to be an example. And so I asked my designer to make it very gaudy at this point. So please understand it is not necessarily the designer's choice.
まあもともとやりたかったけどシェーダーがなく
No,
て
I'm
や
here
った
for
の
this.
で、まあ
This
こ
is
れ
great.
ぐらいゴールドをちゃんと
Yeah, that does feel like more reflective metal. I like
Yep.
it.
So up until now, we didn't have the proper shaders to apply, but we would love to improve
Yeah, especially
the
on
look
the pillars.
of metallic
Mhm.
surfaces. For example, gold here.
すごいですよね。
Well, dude, just look at the thing in the middle. Like, look how much detail you can actually see with like the jewelry.
It looks like
Well,
brushed
Yeah.
gold.
if she
It
just
looks like
tells
brushed
me,
and,
I was like,
and
"No,
slightly
if I were that
tarnished
rich,
gold.
I wouldn't be working."
でもこれ怖いもんで、今まで我々は左を金だと信じてまいりましたけど。
It's like you can't even see like the gold
Yeah, actually, we
above
trusted
the
left side screen is gold
above
up
the
until now,
like
but then now
the design in the
only
middle, like
see
under the
brass,
trunk or whatever.
not
Can't even
gold.
see it like on the
Gold.
left one.
まあこう
When
いう
you hit
形
when
で
you
金
when you
属
throw
の
like the lighting in
質感強
the
化っていうのも
texture
や
of
って
the
いき
gold
ま
on
す。
there.
まあこれはねとてもわかりやすい
You can
例じ
see
ゃ
it.
ないかなと思います。
Thank you for that. But yeah, again, we're trying to make improvements to the material quality, so the look of metallic surfaces as well.
さらにですね続いてはマップに使えるメモリっていうのも、上限を上げてあげようと思っているので、それによってですねより多くのオブジェクトが配置できるようになっていきます。
And next was to
Look away,
look
Leak,
at
this is
the
spoilers.
memory resources allocated to render a particular area on a map.
I've
And
seen
I'm
this.
looking to raise that sort
No,
of
you're
tab
past this
so
point.
that we can place more objects in a particular field.
まあこれ左側が現在 よくちょっとマトシャと出会ったりするところですけど、こんな感じになってます。これ現在ですね。
So the left side, you may remember your first encounter with Matsuya.
でそれがですね、今回このぐらいまではいけるだろうと。
So many stuff in the environment
And
now.
with
I love
testing,
it.
we are seeing that
Feels
we
more
can
lived in, it's
possibly
great.
place more objects
Yes.
with ease.
左と比べてですね、やっぱりまず注目点としては、
Like just
その一枚
just what they've
の
gone
布で作ら
for
れた
with
その
the
階段状になってる部分っていうのが、
with
それ
the
ぞれ素材違いを
avenues tarnished
しかも
again
こう組み合わ
steps
せで
and
ずらして
the
配置したりすることによってこう
and the
使い込まれた
discoloration has
感
been
とか
great.
より出せ
I
る
also love the
この
ground
辺りはね
textures
実はすご
that's
く
been
大きい。
I was
changed.
gonna say, there's actually ground.
And so in the left,
Yeah, it's
you
really
may
good.
notice
Seeing a
that
lot
it's
of
just
extra
a
grass and
repeat,
such that wasn't there
layered
before.
on like a repeat layered on top of each other. But in the updated graphics, you can see that we are able to
The
place
stairs actually look like somebody built them.
objects, not exactly like on top of each other,
And
but like you can
used.
shift it by a little bit. It'll
Yep, yep.
allow for a more realistic depiction of the
Looks
area
neat.
has been in
Great.
use. So this is actually quite it helps with like the immersion.
であとはそ
Yeah.
の
My immersion!
床ですね、実は床の上にもう一枚テクスチャーを重ねてブレンドさせることでですね、床のこうひび割れだったり、細かい今だとねメモリがないので巨大な床を一枚貼ってどうにかところなんですけど、そこをさらにこうスカンマ上げていけるようになる。
And then the floor or the ground, with the graphical update, would be able to add another layer on top to give it more texture and kind of blend it in. So like cracks in the ground. Previously, we wouldn't have enough memory, so we would just have to paste one giant floor and deal with it. But with the graphical updates, I think we'll be able to improve on the texture quality as well.
そしてですね、続いてからちょっと BG でお知ら
Good,
せする最後なんですが、
Make this the game that
This
never
is probably the
dies.
last set of samples that I've seen for
I
the
mean,
background
Eleven's already at that
elements.
point, so.
こちら
Kind
で
of,
すね
yeah.
我々開発チーム最大の敵
Though there's no
自動
saving
さん
that
って呼ん
game
でる
graphically, so
So this is one of our pet peeves, arch nemesis, I should say. These are like these automatically generated grass.
これがですね、カットシーンのチェックをやってるとですね、割り込んでくるんですよ。自動で生やされるんで。多分カットシーン作ったスタッフの時には生えてなかったんでしょうけど、僕がチェックする時は生えててですね、このジャギジャギがすごい入ってくるんですよ、カメラに。
And this is so it takes away from cutscenes when it barges in. I'm sure when the cutscene team is creating the composition, they don't see the grass because this is just automatically generated after the fact. But sometimes it's like so close up and it's so pixelated, and that pixelation it bothered me very much.
今回もね、実はちょっと裏話
Alright, let me see your HQ grass.
まあ、エルピスで
I thought we got rid of HQ items, but hey, here we go.
Hmm.
ヘルメスにね、メーティオンにせがまれて、エルピスの花を
Close your ears,
はい
Lee.
はい
Close them.
空でね、あるじゃん
Close them, Lee. Close them. Literally.
カメラを
Alright.
外すあそこがですね、何度チェックしてても自動草が入ってくるんですよ。で、頭にちゃんと
Is this Spoodless?
BG 班に頼んで、この辺もう草生やさないぜって。
They said a couple of names,
あなるほ
and
ど
I'm pretty sure she's not at this part yet.
まあ言ってしまった
Oh, Twitter spoiled all the names, don't worry.
Oh.
So one
Yeah,
behind
names are
the
super
scenes,
unfair because the embargo went down.
There
comment I
is
wanted to
so
make.
many, so
When I
much
was,
fan art.
looking at the
Don't
cutscene
worry.
in Elpis, sorry spoilers, but Hermes, when he's talking to Meteon
Elpis,
about,
sorry,
oh, I want to
spoilers.
show you the
Wrong,
flowers.
wrong order, but we'll forgive you that.
Elpis, and he removes his mask, and the grass automatically generates, and it gets in the way. So I got so mad. I told the background team, like, can you make it so that you don't have grass being generated in this part of the
It is interesting to hear
ground?"
this because this is not something I ever thought
で、そ
about.
れがですね、今まだテスト中です
Oh
が
my
こんな感じになりま
goodness.
す
That is
Yeah.
beautiful.
That's really
But that will
nice.
be updated, hopefully. Again, we're still testing, but
Grass.
this
Also,
many polygons as a
I'm
character.
absolutely a moron. I did not realize this was
でまあ
Elpis. I
種
thought
類
this
もね
was
複数
Ilmag.
持てるようになるので、
No, I know. I knew this
これ
was.
ね
Oh, yeah, no, that makes more sense now.
木とか
God, that grass looks really nice. It's a shame this is another thing I turned down pretty quickly. That's lovely,
and
that
plus
is. Look
we
at
are able
it.
to generate a variation of different grass.
Dog's gonna
plants,
log in
and
7.0 and it's gonna be like,
while we haven't added or
you have the
modified
option to
anything in the
turn it
background,
back
like
to
the trees
back to
and the field in
6.0
the background
graphics.
have not
Well,
been
no, I
modified,
mean,
Yeah.
to be
the
fair,
look of
my
it
computer is
is,
actually beefier than I give it
different
credit for,
because
but I
of how
never
we
take the
can,
chance. I was
process
like,
these
I haven't
automated
overclocked
grass.
これはですね
Ryzen 5. I have a 3080. I could leave this game at max settings and be just fine.
自動で生えてる草が綺麗になります
It's just force of habit from when I didn't
And for this
have any
update, we
of
will be
those things.
replacing the system
Yeah,
that
that grass is so
generates
ridiculous.
these grass or
It's so
plant
sharp.
life.
I'm not used
And
to grass in
so
any
this
game
should
being
be
this sharp. What
applied
the hell?
throughout all of the areas from A Realm Reborn throughout Endwalker.
Yoshi P, seeing a
さあで
cutscene, not
は
liking
バッ
going
ク
never
グラウンド
again.
実はねまだ
Never
あるんです
again
け
shall
ど
I
ち
have
ょっ
to
と
suffer this
どんな
indignity.
表現バックグラウンドを上げていくかというのを
Pixels in my game? I think not.
We've done various other testings in
Yeah,
terms
dude,
of background elements, but allow
Yo,
me to
I
summarize
I
again.
just want
まず先ほど
Gratia to not
サン
have
プルでも見
fucking
ていただきました
pixelated
ライト配置数の追
crystals.
加質感落とす
That's
表
all I
現
want.
雰囲気の強化っていうのが
The only
これ
things that
で
bother me with when it comes to pixelation, pixelizing,
So
the
again,
pixels,
we
haha, I
going
got
to
that,
be doing
are
additional
hair
lighting points,
and
so
clothing.
improved visual quality,
Yeah.
depth, and inversion.
そしてで
And
す
you
ね
know,
影の公開像とか
half of
影の
Graha's
テクスチ
looking
ャーを公
fucking
開用にする
Shadowbringers.
ことでですねちらつかなくなって影
Yeah,
がより
yeah,
効くようになります
it was rough.
And then higher resolution shadows. And so we'd be improving the texture
The
of
pixel
the
crystals is
shadow
taking
and how
over,
it's
man.
depicted so that it will allow for
God, this is gonna be, this is labor
flickering,
intensive, I
flickering.
feel. God, they're biting off
ちょ
so
っと嘆
much.
きの海のマップを思い出していただきたいんですけどあそこ実は雰囲気を宇宙空間にするためにライトの距離をすごい遠くして全体の暗さをこう占めるようなことをやってるんですけど結果そうすると影がものすごく長く表示されるんだけど、テクスチャー解像度が低いがゆえにすごいじらついたりボケたりする箇所が結構多いんですよ。ただ雰囲気を優先したんで我慢してたんですけどそういうところもですねより綺麗にちらつかずに影が出てくるようになると思います。
So if you would recall Mare Lamentorium and how we were trying to depict or make it seem like you're in outer space and make sure that the lighting had been placed in a very distant location so that we emphasize that sort of darkness that surrounds you.
Yeah,
Because
someone
of
who plays a
that,
great
whenever you're
character.
on the
Thanks
moon,
for
you're
that.
Sort of your shadow gets to be very long, but because the shadow textures were not optimal, you would see frequent areas.
We also
that
won't
would
talk about how you
cause
can't see the
shadows
you
to
can't see the
flicker
sun on the
or
moon
it could
apparently.
Get blurry. So with the graphical update, we're hoping to improve so that those shadows would come out a lot
It's
crisper.
hard, man.
そして質感表現の向上です。これもシェーダーでですね金属とか布とかまあそれ以外のちょっとシェーダーも今検討してます。
And then, of course, improve textures, which includes metals, fabrics, and we're also trying to consider what other elements can we improve.
そして最後にご覧いただいた自動配置植物の強化高解像度にしたりですねあと植生をね種類を増やしたりしていきます。
Possible improvements to fog and other
Lastly,
ambient effects.
more and better
currently being tested.
auto-generated greenery, which is increased resolution, variety, and etc.
Yoshi gets burned once by the grass. No. Do it again. Higher quality.
I want the real you. Perfect.
When someone comes out and says touch grass, I want them to come to 14.
And we're also considering other effects or filters that would apply to the overall screen, including ambient occlusion and fog effects.
Actually,
Now,
I believe
those are
that they just
still
got
being
tired of
tested,
people
but we
installing
couldn't
Reshade.
produce results that we can
That's not going to
present
stop
at
people
this
from
time.
having reshade. It's just going to make reshade even better.
めちゃくちゃクオリティ上がるんですけど、画面全体にパフォーマンスの影響を与えるものなので。
To be fair, I do use it to rebalance the saturation and
その
I don't go
皆
so
さん
hard now that my new
極端に PC
monitor,
を買い
well,
替えたりとか
it's
し
not
な
new
くても
anymore.
あ
Now
の
that the
あと
monitor
オ
I
プションでね
use is
ちょっと
actually a
で
good
きる
one.
ことで軽くできるとかっていうのをちゃんと用意した上でここまでやれますよっていうのをちゃんとお見せできる
And there are
ちょっ
some
と
effects that I
そこ
still
まで
use for like
いけない
just
の
when
で
taking
まあただこれらも
screenshots.
強化はしていきますので
Just like
また続
just
報
like
を
the
ねお待ちい
updated
ただけれ
character
ばと思います
models isn't gonna stop people from modding. They're just gonna
And
make
we
them.
totally
It's just
understand
gonna make
that
the
it
modding
will
scene even
give it
better.
a different sense of atmosphere, or it would really improve the mood if we had those kinds of textures applied or those filters applied. But it does affect the overall performance of the game. So we will need to test it very carefully for sure. So we want to explore our options, but we also want to make sure that we are at a state where we're comfortable and not requiring for so much resources that players would have to like update their PC to an extreme, or be able to provide an option to shut it off if you want to optimize your performance. So I'm afraid we're not able to show you anything as of like a month or so of testing, but we're hoping to bring you updates further down the line. So yeah, if you could please stay tuned for that.
さてでは、グラフィックス第1次グラフィックスアップデートの、まあ、今日お伝えできる範囲としては、ここまでとさせていただきます。
Okay, so in terms of the graphical updates and the preparations that we're making for it, I think is all that I have for today's presentation.
I mean, this is so much more information than I was expecting to get.
3つ目なんですが、
This is a
引き続き
crazy amount
大
of
きなアップデー
it.
ト
Oh,
これまでと変わらずですね、適切なスケジュールでお
No,
届けしていきます
he
よ
was
という
just done
お話
talking
で
about
す。
graphical stuff.
So yeah, we will continue to provide regular
Oh
updates
God, there's
on
more.
an appropriate schedule.
せっかくの機会ということでですね、
はい
ちょっと 6.1 から
We also have a
6.5
trailer
まで
to watch
現状
after
決
this,
まってい
but
るも
not
の
not
で
Oh,
お知らせ
really?
できそうなものをお知らせしておこ
oh
うと
no,
思
I
い
know
ま
what
す。
it is. I've been keeping an eye out.
So I would like to share information that we know that we're going to have from 6.1 through 6.5.
まずパッチ 6.1 なんですけど、こちらねリリースタイミングが読み切れないと思うんですけど皆さん4月に出します
somehow
はい
further Hildebrand story adventure.
Oh man, I burned out on
So-
Hildebrand
so
after.
far,
Somehow.
one series.
I burned out on
I
Hildebrand
understand
after
that it's
Heaven's
still
Word. I haven't
kind of
been
hard to
keeping
see
up.
Oh, I
when
have.
it's
I've
coming,
enjoyed the
but, we
Yeah,
are
it's pretty
looking at
good.
April
Fantastic,
at this point.
fantastic.
Story one's really good.
当
Also,
然ですがメインクエストは
Tataru's Grand
6.1
Endeavor
6.5まで新しい冒険をお届けし
Side
We
quest
have a
ます
series,
Tataru.
yay.
Yeah, we have a Tataru side series.
Of course, part of those updates will include
Good, she deserves some love.
the updates to the main scenario. We will have a new story with each patch installment.
そしてですね全世界から帰ってこいと言われていた
So I imagine this won't be the
ケイヤ
case,
紳士ね
but I do have a. I do
紳士期間でご
suspect
ざいま
that
すヒルディブランドの
if I were to do anything with
プロジェクト
Tataru,
が
I would base it
始まり
around
ます
crafters. So I
Of
wonder
course, we've heard
if that's what
many
this will be
people
about.
ask for
Though
him
that does
to come
bar
back,
entry, so probably
this
not.
No, I don't
gentleman
think it'll be. I don't think it'll be
extraordinaire,
for
Mr.
crafters. I
Hildebrand,
think it'll
will
be.
be making his
It's going to be
return.
centered around obviously her
新しいサブ
new
クエ
like
ストシリーズとしてですね、タタ
job,
の大
technically.
繁盛商店
Yeah,
が
wherein she's a crafter.
連続として始ま
yeah,
ります。
but we might be the muscle for her.
And then, of course, a new series of side quests.
We are a big
named
dumb muscle, it's
Tataru's
great.
Grand Endeavor.
ちなみにヒルディブランドが最後に目撃されたのはパッチ 5.3 で実装された漆黒決戦ノルブラントでエリディブスによって召喚された中に
いましたね。
確率でたまに出てくるんでねあいつID の中に、
はい
あそこですね最後に目撃されてるのが
I believe the last last time Hildebrand was seen was in patch 5.3, the Hero's Gauntlet. And this is a random occurrence, so you may or may not have seen him. But when you are doing your Warrior of Light battle, he is one of the people that is summoned.
さあどんな冒険とかね珍道中になるのかぜひ楽しみにお待ちください
But yeah, we hope you enjoy whatever odd adventures that he gets into.
まあどんどんいきますパッチ 6.1 まだまだあってですね、アライアンスレイドミソロジー・オブ・エオルゼア12時にまつわる物語ですねスタートします
Continuing with patch 6.1 updates, we will have our Alliance raid, Myths of the Realm, Part 1
God, I can't wait for that.
implemented. This is going to
Mhm.
delve into
Yeah, it's gonna be
or touch
great.
upon the mythos
And then the
of
next
the
Unreal
12
Trials,
gods.
Ultima's Bane.
そして
I get to experience doing Ultimate Extreme again.
して蛮族クエスト
I'm really interested to see the Dragon Songs reprise.
実は本当お待たせしました
Oh, yeah.
レイド大好き勢
It's gonna be
本当お
it's
待
gonna
た
be
せ
a
したんです
fun
が最新
Ultimate
絶リリースします
world first race.
Mm-hmm. I
And so,
very much think
next
so.
is a new PvP, the Crystal and Conflict. We will have a new Beast Tribe quest.
Oh, this is
or
genuinely
a
new PvP. Come to
tribal
think of it,
quest.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Arcasoda
This will be the
tribe quests in their dailies, and then a new
when the actual
ultimate
PvP changes come
content.
through.
Thank you so
Right,
much
right,
for your
right.
patience. Our new ultimate duty will be implemented as of 6.1.
ゲームはねアルテマになりますがもうバランスチェックも終わっていて
6.1
結構むずいですよ
They're not dropping it on that on that.
And of
On
course,
that patch.
we will finally be reopening the Unreal battles. Ultima's Bane will be what's coming for the next battle. We are currently testing this out, but it's quite challenging.
Where did they get all these
もと
people?
もと結構初期に時間のない中で作られていて
Did they just get like a boon and people like applying and like you know?
被弾してもそんなになんですけど
'Cause
レベル
you're
90
doing a lot.
取り直してきっちりアイテムレベル
I genuinely think now that they're not
確定させたらね
having to work on races and extra classes, they have time. It's my fondest wish they do not intro a new class in 7.0 either. I want them to
done
just
in a rush.
refine
and then
what's
by
there.
Now, I think people
I think they're gonna drop
raised
the
their item
one.
level. So
I mean,
even
that's
if
fine.
you
I guess
take
that's fine. I
damage,
just want
not
them
as
to take
bad,
one
but
expansion where
with
they,
the
instead of
Unreal
making something
battles, we
new,
have adjusted
like, I
the
want 7.0
boss
to be
fight so
the
that it matches,
refined
that
14
of a level
experience.
90 players. So
Animations,
and we
actions,
kind of finalized the
gameplay,
item level.
visuals.
So testing it out,
I would be fine
enjoyed
with
it. It was
that.
a very interesting battle, and it's very challenging for sure.
でも今ちょっとコメントであったんだけど、蛮族クエストっていう蛮族っていう呼び方やめたいなっていうコメントがあって、確かにそうだね、ちょっと考え直そうメモっといてもらっていいかしら。はい表現変えていきましょう。
There was a comment about the Beast Tribe quest, and it seems to not be very favorable to call it that. I know we're trying to shift it to say tribe quests, or like we're just calling it by the tribal name in the English, but we are going to try to figure out a better way to phrase it.
そして絶なんですけど、
Yeah, that makes sense.
まあめっちゃ調整続いてるんですけど、多分一番難しいと思うんで、やる方は覚悟をしておいてください。
And I want to backtrack a little bit to the ultimate duty, the new ultimate duty, and we're balancing right now and making adjustments, but it's quite difficult. So if you're up for a challenge, that's fantastic. But yeah, it's going to take some. It's going to again be challenging.
実は 6.11 かな。
Oh, I'm sorry. Ultimate would be not 6.1 but 6.11. So it might.
Yep.
It's probably
Oh,
not
there you
the
go.
same time
There's
as
the
the major
correction.
patch.
まあメインシナリオをやったり、ハウジングの抽選に応募したりとかすると思うので、2週間
Also,
かけて出す
don't say it's gonna be hard unless you know it's
We are hoping that players would enjoy the main scenario
Gonna
first,
take
and then
TPS
6.1 is
more than,
also
like,
when we open
3
up the
days
Ishgard
to-
housing. So I'm sure people
clear
will
it.
want to sign up for like housing plots. So we're going to wait 2 weeks after the launch of the
Oh, you
major
wanna talk
patch
about the
and
real
then
savage
release
race.
the ultimate duty.
まだま
Housing.
だあってですね、6.1
Yeah.
まあさっきお伝えしたメインクエスト ID のフェイス対応 2.0 半やって、それ以外の
Oh man, new
アイテム
hairstyles
とか
for
グラフィックスの調
Hrothgar.
整とかいろいろやってます。
Oh, God bless them. They finally get something
Yay.
nice.
Continuing on with the 6.1 series updates. So the main quest, the trust
This
system.
is
yeah.
why I
Realm
kept
Reborn,
seeing jokes about
Push 2.0
Emilians.
main
Oh,
scenario
man.
games.
They were
そして
dirty
新しいリワー
too.
ドシステムとしてですね、
God,
キャラクターカードっていうのも
be good.
システム
I might go back to
が
actually doing custom deliveries.
And then
Emilians
the
is
new
lovely.
calling card
Do
style
not
UI. So
lewd
this is
the
going to be a
twins'
new
mother.
card type system that
Yeah,
we
I'm telling
plan
ya.
to
She's a good,
I'm telling
sweet
ya.
woman who's been bankrolling us for the
詳しい内容はね
last 10 years.
3月4日からの
Yeah, we're about to
また
we're about to pay for that
Hey,
back roll and see if we
hey,
can get what we
hey.
need.
お伝えしていきます
God
そして
damn
お待たせ
it.
したロスガルの
This is why we can't have
第
nice
2回のスタートと
things.
なります
So for
Does that
this
mean we get to dress her up at the
polychart
end?
style UI, this is something that we'll cover in our next
I
next
hope
two
so.
live
Question mark?
letters. There's one definitely planned on March 4th.
I don't trust the internet with
and we'll
this.
do like a
They've already done it. I've
6.1
already seen her in
feature,
freaking
part 1
straps
part 2.
and
So we'll delve
whatever.
into details at that
God.
time. So
Move-
next item would be new hairstyles for
Move over,
Alpha.
Daddy
Thank you so
Fortuno.
much for your patience on this.
That was pretty much what I
そして
saw.
ハウジング打ち上がるド
Oh
ルジンが
Get out,
no.
etc. You
さ
know.
んの取引はなんとフィナアリゼのお母様であるアメリアンス編となります
Twin's gonna
The
have a
next
new
items
daddy.
is the opening of Imperium or Ishgard housing.
God, I was
and then
wondering why
custom
that joke was the way it
deliveries.
was.
You
I
get to
understand
each
now.
Alphino and
I'm going to
Alizé's
custom
mom,
deliver Alfino and
minions.
Alize a new sibling. God, y'all look bad.
あ
Y'all look
次
bad.
はいつですかまあまたちょっと PLL で詳しく言いますけど6.15 を予定してますはい
We had a question about when is the new PvP going to go live. Again, we'll cover this in the upcoming other PLLs, but we are looking at 6.15 timing for that.
まあそれ以外にもですね透滅戦など多数のものがまあ透滅戦名前言えないですけどありますんでぜひご期待くださいここまでがまあ 6.1 のざっくり概要です
And of course, new trials, we can't say what, but other assorted updates are planned for the 6.1 series.
Well, we
そし
already
て
know
続い
that
て 6.2
6.1
ですが
trial
こんな感
is
じ
going to
になっ
be
てて
something
まあ
I
一番
can't
の注
say
目はや
because
っぱりお知らせしていた無人の開拓が6.2からスタートになります
So next up is the 6.2 series. This is one of the large, like the anticipated content. I
That
believe,
fourth
is
bullet.
the Island Sanctuary. That's
I
when
am
we're going to start opening this up.
interested in that.
昨日全体を一通りチェックしましたけどめちゃくちゃでかいんで規模だいぶね
Criterion
組み上がってるんで
dungeon
もう
It's a new dungeon system
I had the
with
opportunity to
variable
check
difficulty
the
for 1 to 4
overall,
players.
Is this just not
content
going to be the
yesterday,
new
and
deep dungeon?
it's quite
No.
large scale, but I think it's coming along
Interesting.
nicely.
またちょっと今日は時間がないのであれですけど
Obviously,
詳しく
weapon enhancements
説明する
is
機会は取
relic.
ろうと思いますが基
Of
本
course,
的には
of course.
外の世界と全く
And finally, we get
異なる
Island Sanctuary
そこだけで完結できる
in 6.2,
遊びになってますしまあゆっくり本当にゆるく
Time-
やれるので
Time for
楽しみに
Animal
待っていただけ
Crossing
ると嬉しいです
14.
So I'm afraid we don't have the time to cover it
Do,
today,
do,
but
do,
we
do,
will
do,
take the
do,
time.
do. I'd love to hear
some,
so can have a riff on that
at
actually.
another opportunity so that we can explain the details of this. But it is going to be a different sort of area that you can enjoy, and it's a very self-contained sort of content that you can enjoy.
でまあ2.x 残り新生オルゼアの 2.x シリーズのメインクエスト ID を全部対応し想定編にも突入しますあとは武器強化コンテンツの新しいシリーズをスタートしますとかですね
So going back to the earlier bullet points, we will be applying the trust system for the 2.x main scenario dungeons, maybe partially into Heaven's Word. It says here.
ああそうだもうね多すぎ
That's
て入れてないんですよ
crazy.
ミラ
It's
クル
so
の
early.
特徴もね 6.1 から第1弾始まるんで言っときますそういうの
Oh, we
That's-
also want to mention.
that means just when 7.0 rolls
we
around,
will
we all
be
gotta
expanding on
replay the story.
Glamour's, Glamour.
Yep.
ごめんなさい、
Yeah, it does.
グラマープリズムの方でしょうか。
あとね
言えない感じですか。
第1弾は
That means you should just probably stop doing the story right now, dog.
Yep. Yep, it sure does.
So glamour related.
I'll just go
updates.
through
I'm
with New
sorry, I
Game Plus,
wasn't sure how
this
to
time.
phrase it, so I squeezed it out of Yoshida-san. We will be addressing and expanding upon glamour plates as part of the first glamour related updates in 6.1
Oh, nice.
series.
まあちょっと全部書ききれないけどいつもの討伐討滅戦のノーマルと極があるとかいうのはまあいつも通りやっていくので、まあその辺は書かれてなくてもあると思ってもらえると助かります。
And of course, we will have whatever content that you can expect in a patch update, so like new trials, etc. It's not written here because we couldn't fit it all in the slides, but yes.
収納数増やすトライもしてるからごっそりどっかのタイミングで増やします。
And we're also looking at like how to expand upon like the number of sets stored. So we're
Yeah,
hoping to find
yeah,
an
this is something
opportunity
that
to do
I've
that and
heard
update
complained about a lot,
players.
especially
So
from
not an
11 players
overhaul, but
when
like
they
an
all say
update on
like, yeah,
that.
we had
そ
like
してですね、
25.
さりげなく書かれて
But
い
you
る
all have like
新しいこの
25. We have
6.2 から
like
新しいバ
99
トル
pages
コン
worth
テ
of
ン
all
ツ
of
タ
this.
イプが全
It's
く
like,
これまで
oof,
と違う
that
コン
is
テン
hard
ツ
to
を今
argue.
開発中です
Don't know when you're ever going to run that many
And then the
glamours, but
fourth bullet
I guess
point,
it's nice to
just
have.
kind of snuck in there as part of like the updates, but it's a new thing that we're trying to do. It's a dungeon with variable difficulty.
これ難易度可変ダンジョンって
I'm
今
so
開発
interested
コ
as
ー
to
ド
what
ネ
this
ーム
means.
なん
I
です
just
けど
assumed it was
1
Deep
人
Dungeon.
から4人でチャレンジできて1人で行く2人で行く3人で行くっていうので自動的にそれに合わせて難易度がコントロールされるっていうチャレンジ型のコンテンツになります。
And so the code name that we're using here is like Criterion Dungeons, but so you can attempt this with 1 to 4 people, and what makes it variable is that if you go in, depending on the number of people you go in with, so 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, the difficulty sort of varies. It will automatically scale, so it's like a content where players can sort of challenge
Monster Hunter
themselves.
boys.
まあこちらも組み上がってはきてるんですけど、まだ調整いろいろチェックやってたりするので、
Scaling
まあ
more
6点に近づいてきたら
Which means
しっかり
it-
特集していきたいと思います。
Realistically, it should be easier to do with one
It is
person.
coming along nicely,
and a little bit
but,
harder
and
and
we're
harder to do
still
with 4 people.
performing checks on the content.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
please stay
I see
tuned
you.
for new information as they become available when we can talk about 6.2.
そして 6.3 になるとですね、メインクエストの ID フェイス対応が争点編をここで完了させる予定です。
And then moving into 6.3, so we continued to add more trust NPCs. We should be able to address the remaining main scenario instanced dungeons in Heavensward.
でかいのはですね、
Word.
世界中からですね、ディープダンジョンシリーズの新しいのがやりたいという、お声を
And
た
there's
くさん
Deep
頂
Dungeon
戴していたので、
Hey, speak of the devil, there she
6.3
is.
で、ディープダンジョンシリーズの第3弾実装予定です。
Whoa, that's Iron Mouse's
And then,
podcast. We can't say
players
that
from
here
around the
anymore.
world had asked about
Goodness
when do we get a
gracious.
new
All right,
Deep
fair
Dungeon.
play.
And so
I
we
wonder-
are in the planning phases
Deep
at this
Dungeon, it
time.
could happen in a
We're
couple of
hoping
different places
to
this time
launch
round.
the third in the series of Deep
Hmm,
Dungeons
wonder.
at 6.3 series timing.
Just the location of the
そ
Deep
して
Dungeon
で
this
すね、
time.
すでに、
Oh, yeah.
開発スタートして進んでるんですが、Z シリーズの第5弾を、6.3でリリース予定です。
I've
And
got
then, we are already
I've
starting
got
to
some
make plans for
theories.
this, but we do intend on adding
But are
one
they good?
more ultimate duty. So this will be
Uh,
the 5th one in the series.
I'm kidding.
そしてですね、6.2 でリリースされた、無人島開拓の
Of course
I
not.
want to
not.
say,
もちろん行
I
う
want to. Wow. Oh no,
Of course,
my
because we will
my
be
theory
opening up
is,
the Island Sanctuary as of 6.2.
89
At
dungeon area.
6.3 series timing, we will continue to update it.
Really? You think
ま
there?
あ4と5は
Yeah.
ちょっとパッチ6.4と5はまとめて
I was thinking 87, or if failing that,
グレン編のメインクエスト ID
イルズバード
を全部終わらせて、まあこれでストーリー上に登場する
I mean, possibly
アイテムは
Ilzabard, but
対応が終わる予定です。
we have access to a
And
specific
then next
thing
next page
in-
covers both
in
6.4
89?
and
It's
6.5
very
series.
interesting what
Seemingly-
happens
By
there
this
now.
time,
Yeah.
we
seemingly
aim
probably
to
goes
complete the trust
infinitely
system
down?
implementation into all
Correct,
of the
correct.
Stormblood main series main scenario dungeon series, and so that should get through all of Stormblood.
で難易度可変ダンジョンと呼んでる新しいバトルコンテンツシリーズの第2弾と
Criterion
第3弾も
Dungeons
入れていき
2 and
ます
3 will be
し
in
無人島開拓の
0.4
開拓
and
エリアを
0.5.
追加したりっていう予定ももう当然ね我々長期計画で進んでるので予定されてます。
And then, of course, our Criterion dungeons will see an update. We should have numbers 2 and 3 implemented. And then for Island Sanctuary, at this time, we want to expand upon the area. So we'll have an additional area.
でですね、例えば青魔同士のレベルキャップをどのタイミングにする、解放どのタイミングにするのとか、そういう 状況を見ながら調整しているものに関してはどうしてもまだ言えないので、それらもちゃんとどっかのタイミングでやっていきますんで、またそれぞれでですね、パッチのこう特集をお待ちいただければありがたいなと。やらないとかいうわけじゃないんで、ここに書かれてないものはね、まだ詰め切れてないものはちょっと言えないのでさすがに、まあこのあたりはもう全部確定しているのでお知らせしております。
I'm sure some of you might be wondering about, okay, when is the next time the Blue Mage is going to have their level cap increased?
Sure.
And,
People are definitely wondering about Blue Mage.
some of
100%.
these items
100%.
we need
Yeah,
to monitor
copium.
the situation.
Hashtag copium.
And so I'm afraid
So
we
anyway,
aren't
the
able
Island
to
Sanctuary.
determine
Is
exactly
anyone in
when this
this
is going
chat
to happen.
actually
But we do
interested in
intend
this?
on
I am.
doing
I have
it.
a I have like a
We
passing interest, but
will
it's nothing I'm
share
gonna
more
put any great
information
amount of time
when
into
we
unless
are
suddenly
to
it
do like a
just
patch specific
grips me and just
like
rips me into it.
updates live
I mean,
stream. Please note that
if
even
it's anything kind of
if it's
similar,
not
like
written in the
Animal
document, it doesn't mean
Crossing-ish
that
esque,
we're
I
not
did
Do we
spend a
do
couple
we
of
think it's
Nah,
going
I
to be
quite,
though
I quite like
Yeah, there
realistically?
might be
I've seen a
information
lot
that
of
we're
people
still
interested
in
on
the planning
Twitter,
phases,
and
and
I've
we
actually seen
weren't
fan
able
art of
to
people
solidify at this time.
Yeah.
wanting their characters to be in this
we
situation,
will
and Xenos
continue
because of his
to,
scythe.
look at
Oh,
various existing
goodness.
content
Of course.
and
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
interested because I like these types of genres anyway as a game.
まあなんか
Yeah,
事情を出すと
Stardew Fantasy,
細かい
maybe?
あれはどう
まあ
これは
そうなりますね
どうってやっぱなっちゃうね。まあ
Yeah.
皆さんが
Also,
思ってることは
I guess
基本
I'll
的に
leave it to
や
you
っ
two to tell me about it.
大
Yep, yep.
丈夫ですよ。
I see that people in the comments are talking about various granular areas of patch updates, and I think it's safe to say that things that we know people are expecting in a regular update will more than likely be included. So I want to make sure that yeah, don't be worried.
まあアルカスソーダラの次はどうなるの、種族ってどうなるのとかもう全部決まってます。ちゃんと毎パッチやっていくので、まああれかなこれかなって思いながら待っていただけると嬉しいです。
And the tribal quest beyond Arkasodara is I'm sure a mystery, but we have a plan. We do have like which group to
I mean, obviously,
focus in
the
on,
other
and
ones are going to
we
be
do want
Loporrits.
to have
Sure,
content
yeah.
available per
That's pretty much a
each of the
sure thing at
patch.
this
So
point.
it'd be
Yeah.
great if you
And
could
for it's just the
wait,
Sharlians,
or not wait, but like
and they have to
start
say,
to,
okay, so it's not
kind of
beast
imagine what
tribes this
kind
time.
of which tribe
Well,
will
no,
we
they've
be
already stated
focusing
that
in on.
あと
Beast
ゴールド
tribe
ソー
is
サーも
not
予定
correct
してるんですけ
when
ど、
referring
4
to
になるか
stuff
5になる
now.
かまだ決まってないんでちょっと待ってください。
because people in chat were like
And
saying that
we
you
do
know the
intend on
Matanga,
making gold
the
saucer
Arcasadora are
updates,
not
but we still haven't
beast
determined if
tribes.
it's going to be 6.4 or
Like
6.5.
it feels
That's
bad
true.
calling
That's why we're
calling
It's
them
true.
beast
Technically,
tribes.
neither were the dwarves.
さあ、
Yeah.
というわけでまあまあ変わらずですね、もりもりでやっていきますよ
So
という
now they're just
お
calling
知らせ
tribal
でした。
quests.
But yeah, just wanted to go through all of these roadmaps
Charlian
just
tribal
so that we know
quests.
that we continue or we plan to continue providing
Get your own
very
tribal
hefty
tattoo,
updates.
ただで
Urianger.
すね、一個皆さんにこれを踏まえてですね、ちょっとお知らせをさせてください。
Now we'll be
But
helping
with
out
that
the
being said, allow me to make,
the other fuckers that are in Charlie, and the
announcement.
gatherers, whatever I
メ
forget what
ジ
they're
ャーパッ
called.
チのサイクルにつ
Oh,
いてです。
like
the
go around and
yeah,
gather
yeah,
shit.
yeah.
And this is regarding the major patch cycle.
これまでですね、申請スタートからですね、まあずっとできるだけこの 3.5 ヶ月に1メジャーパッチ配信っていうのを、まあ目標に掲げてやって
They're
い
not
ました
trying to be faster about this, are they?
So of course, since the
There's no way.
relaunch as A Realm Reborn,
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how they would do
try to
it.
keep this pace of one major patch update.
Are they finally
for
going to
every
chill and
3.5
say, yeah, we can't
weeks.
do this. We're going
これを
to
ですね、
slow
本当
down.
申し訳ないんですが、2週間プラスしてですね、4ヶ月に
Oh,
させて
they've
く
given
ださい。
themselves
They gave
15
themselves
days.
2 weeks.
I'm terribly sorry to ask you of this, but
How
we
dare
need to
you
extend
take
it
extra
by
2
2
weeks? How
weeks
dare
until
How very
so that
dare
it's
you.
one major patch
I
every
was thinking
4
they were going to go up to
months.
like 5 months.
Yeah.
So 4 months is like,
I
yeah,
thought
this
it was
is
a month.
nothing.
But no. They're like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Please forgive us. We need these 2 weeks. That's it? Yeah, all right.
One extra week each for implementing and fine tuning, and then one extra week will
It
also be
sounds
added.
Yeah,
summer
yeah, yeah.
and
まあ
New
マイ
Year's
メジャー
holidays.
パッチを 3.5
Yeah,
ヶ
that
月
Like,
間
sounds
だったり
great.
したら
they
もうちょっと
deserve
4
more,
ヶ月
honestly,
まで
but
プ
oh
ラスに
well.
週
Yeah,
3
they could have
プ
slowed
ラ
this
スに
down considerably more. We'd all still be
So first we
fine.
have periods of
Yeah.
our development cycle where it's development and then implementation, and various adjustments, fine tuning that we do. So those 2 weeks that we ask of you for your patience is 1 week for additional implementation, and then 1 week for, or 1 week additional for fine tuning. So that makes it that
Question.
3
Answer.
Why is
2.5 months now
Floxlon even
turns
here?
into 4
Yeah, I don't think
months.
he's actually said anything in
で
like
ですね
forever.
Oh, yeah, because he's an
夏休期間
important
とか
member
我
of
々やっぱ
this
りサマーバケーショ
team,
ン
No, he
and
he
his
is.
absence
したり
would
ですね
A,
年
be
始やっぱり
noted,
あ
and
の
B,
家族と
sorely
一緒に過
missed,
ご
you
してほしいっていう
bastard.
のがあるのでまあ夏季休暇期間とか年末年始の場合にはまあこれにプラス1週間ねさせて
Why
いた
am
だく
I
ことが
here?
ある
I'm
と思います
consistently asking, hey, yeah, what are we
And in addition
doing
to that,
today?
we
It's because
do
of my
have
presence
breaks,
being sorely
like summer
missed.
vacation or summer holidays, New Year's holidays. I'm sure people
Oh
have family
my.
that they would visit over the holidays, and so for
I'm
those
sure he also has
holiday
plenty to do
seasons,
during the
we
Q&A as well,
might
so.
see an
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's
additional
organizing all
1
the things.
week's
He's doing
Yeah,
the background stuff.
not
absolutely.
delayed, but like 1 week's time added as well.
Actually, you know what? He's probably
まあ
the
やっぱりここまでその
he's
前
probably
半の
the
10年間っていう
PowerPoint
とこ
clicker.
ろでもお伝えしましたけど相当
All right, you could say it
開発チーム
unceremoniously
の
as
連中の
such,
モ
but
チベーション
okay.
っていうところに
You're
頼
probably
っ
not
て
wrong.
やってきたところがあるなと思っていてまあそれは僕自身のこう稼働の高さも含めてなんですけどまあ休みたいというよりはやっぱり適切にみんな健康で健やかに開発に取り組むことでよりクオリティも上がっていくだろうでもまあ事実足りてない無理をしてきたっていうところもあるのでちょっとそれが理由になってます。
As I explained in the first half, when we were looking back at our first 10 years, we really depended on the motivation of each of the developers that are on the team, and me included. I was moving around and very hands-on with my team, but looking at our schedule and how we work, I do want my team to be healthy and be able to sort of maintain a good level
Yeah,
of quality
those 2
because they are
weeks.
taking the
Seriously,
necessary
you could have
breaks.
asked for so much more. We would have
And
been
to be
fine.
honest, there were
Stunning.
areas where we
We just
might
need
not
2
have
more weeks and
performed
then,
as
maybe
well
also
as
some
we should
holidays.
have because some of us may have
Yes,
been pushing
please
too
take
hard.
them.
So that's the
Take another
reasoning
week on
behind
free. Why
why we
not?
want
Keep
additional
going.
time.
でまあ非常にね皆さん優しいコメントいただけてるんで
Because
とても
realistically,
嬉しい
people
特
who
に
are
スタッ
going
フ
to
の
play
投稿
play
とか
the
ね
game
気
year
遣ってい
round are
た
going
だ
to
け
play
てる
the
んでとても
game
嬉しい
year
んですけ
round
どまあ
regardless.
これまで
People that are here
ゼロ
for the
から
content and then
まあ
bounce
1.5ヶ月
are
で
going
こ
to
う
do
やっ
that
てきたんですよこの
regardless.
実
So
装10何週
this is
調
fine.
整何週みたいなのでまあやってきたんですけどちょっとね比較を持ってきました
And thank you so much for the kind comments regarding our staff and making sure that you're showing your concern to our staff members. It really warms my heart, and I'll make sure to relay that. But considering what we've been doing in terms of providing an update every 3.5 months since 2.0, and we work with a schedule of like such and such weeks for implementation and whatnot. So we put together this comparison chart for you to take a look.
まあこれまで、企画開発、調整デバッグっていうのを、まあ、3.5 ヶ月
I'm always astounded
や
by
って
the
きてたんですけど
level of transparency that they always have.
Of
I
course,
mean, this
our
goes above and beyond though. This
development,
feels like
Yeah.
largely
the
is broken
earliest we've
down
gotten
to
information
planning,
and in
development,
bulk.
adjustments, and
Yeah,
debug.
look at all that
And
changes.
this is some of the numbers that we've put up.
It's nutty.
まあパッチ 3.3 の時が左の列 5.3 の時が右の列です
In just two
So the column at
expansions,
the
they went
left
up
is
a lot.
patch 3.3 series timing, and then the column on the right is
Damn,
patch
that
5.3
voice word
series.
count is crazy
まあ
high.
コンテンツ数がねそこま
That's
で
just
in
増えた
Japanese,
わけじゃない
by the way.
やっぱジョブ数
I
がまず
still feel
11だ
bad
ったの
because I
が
still
18
think
に
it
なった
needs to be
りボ
higher.
ス数が作ってるボス数が
But
もう17から
like
23
like looking at this in
こ
context,
れ当
they
然
have
調整コストめちゃくちゃ増えてるんで
somehow come so far. And this is from 3.3, which was
So, I
already
mean, the number of
So fucking good.
content, like types of content,
Like
may not
like
have
all this
varied
stuff
over
that's just in
the
Japanese. That
years.
doesn't
But if
count.
you look
That
at,
doesn't
say,
count
like the
all
number
of the
of jobs,
localizations that they do.
Exactly,
from
exactly,
patch 2.3, it's 11 jobs
Cutscene
So
time
times
bubble.
times all that by
18
times
in
all that by like
3.3, which means a lot of
5?
different balance
5. Yeah,
adjustments
there's
for
like because
those.
Yeah.
it's in 5 other
Number of
languages.
bosses have
It's
gone from
German, Dutch,
17 to
French, Spanish,
23.
English, and
English, yeah.
Japanese.
もちろん
So
ね、開発
Yeah.
I think that's
スタ
all
ッ
of
フって
them.
いうのも
うんうん
皆さんからいただいた
Yeah,
probably
いただいた
Korean and Chinese as
まあ
well.
どんどん採用してどんどん増やしていてチーム
Are
間
they-
は
but that's
当然
but that's
Are they
offset though.
dubbed けど
In that?
じゃあ
うん
人が増えればそんなに簡単に
Oh, yeah,
僕ら
true, they might not
工
be
場
dubbed
製
in
品作ってるわ
that
けじゃないので量
They
産
would
が
be.
上がるか
They would. I mean, yeah, it
そ
does
う
make
ね
sense.
They
that
would be,
Chinese
trust
would
me.
be.
必要
Oh, they would
経験も
certainly.
必
They
要
wouldn't accept
やっぱり
the.
そ
They
んな
would
スー
dub
パー
it
エー
as
ス
well.
Oh
China.
no, I wasn't even thinking. Yeah, of
バン
course
バ
they
ン
would be,
育って
wouldn't
るわけじゃ
they?
ないので
There would be some words said
Of course,
if they
with
only got.
our development team,
Oh, yeah,
thanks
true,
to
yeah.
the support via monthly submissions or
But
subscriptions
that's
from
also
everybody,
offset, and I'm
we are
not sure
able
how much
to strengthen our team.
how much
We
the
were able to
actual
hire additional
JP team
staff,
works
and
on
so
that.
our team
Since
has
everything,
definitely
Yeah,
grown,
yeah, yeah.
at least for
but
China,
Yeah,
because
it's
everything
like,
has
yeah.
to go through
factory
another
manufacturing.
Yeah.
Like
another studio and shit. So
we're not an assembly line, so we require training. We require for our staff to gain experience. Not everybody is a super ace player like Nakagawa or Sudo.
例えばこの開発
they're saying this now,
チーム三角形
but they're
だった
literally
場合
about to they're literally about to say
三角の
something
スケールはめっちゃ大
soon.
きくできる
That's going to be
だ
like
けど
it's going to
結
be
局上
like
の方に行くとどこまで行く
Hey,
と最後は
as long as you can do this, sign up, please.
ここがやっぱそんな
Interesting.
簡単には増えないんで、まあ、何でもかんでもたくさん調整もチェックもせずに出すってわけにもいかないから、まあ、吉田を別に分身させろとかその培養して増やせばっていう考えもなきにしもあるんだけど、ちょっとまだテクノロジーがそこまで追いついてないんで。
So if you would imagine our sort of team, I guess, our staff or how we're organized as like a giant triangle. And of course, we can always scale the triangle to be larger, but I mean, it's still a triangle, so the tip is very small. And when you get to like the director and producer level, I mean, we train fantastic people, but like it doesn't grow in numbers as much as like when you scale the lower part of it. And there still requires a lot of adjustments that need to be applied on the things that we do create. And of course, it would be awesome if we can create like multiples of Yoshida. Maybe if we can clone him or
Mass produce Yoshi P.
But still, it is
Science, get on your cloning
吉田に
bullshit.
ハイデリンキックして分割しようって言われたけど、それ
ハイデリンキック
薄くなってんじゃん一吉田。
一気に14個に
Somebody's saying, perform the Heidelin kick on Yoshida and sunder him. Then we'll have 14 of him. But then wait, no, but he's sundered, so he's like thinner. Like you have a diluted version of him.
いやいや、まあでもね、例えばそのカットシーンの数字なんてね、2時間25分トータルだったね、自動送りしていくと、まあパチコーテさんと4時間30分になってるんですけど、まあ当然ですけど、そのいただいた利益で人も増やし、いろんな会社さんにお願いして腕のいい人たちにたくさんカットシーンやっぱ作ってもらってるんですけど、どうしてもねディレクションする側っていうのの人数は限られてくるので、それでももう倍増近い感じですし。
And if we look at the cutscenes, we went from 2 hours 25 minutes to 4 hours and 30 minutes. And this is like if you let the
and they only
dialogue
increased by
autoplay.
one cutscene.
But I mean, we have brought on many talented people onto our teams, but we still require somebody to look at the product that they create, and there needs to be a director.
I volunteer
that
as
makes sure that
tribute.
we're
Use my
aligned.
eyes. I will look at all of the things.
もうなんか面白い、もうなんか能力の薄い
Fly me out, I'm ready.
やからやんけって
Gotta learn Japanese, bruh.
Don't need to learn Japanese to look.
going on about Sundered Yoshida, like, well, but what if
It's
he
not
was
true,
like a low
but still.
quality Yoshida? It's just a man.
I can be made to
という
learn.
わけでですね、これからもちょっと今日お伝えした内容 7.0 に向かっていろいろやっていきます。パッチの物量というのも頑張ってまた作っていきますし、クオリティとか調整というところも妥協なくね。
Well, Dolly, do you know how to use spreadsheet in Excel?
まあその分ですね、ちょっと
As a matter of
これ
fact.
までのパッチサイクル、
Yeah.
3.5 ヶ月にプラス2週させていただいて、4ヶ月っていうサイクルでですね、ここから先まだまだ楽しみお届けしていこうと思ってます。
But yeah, we are making various plans leading up to 7.0, and we still want to continue bringing you the different patch updates. And so, with the different elements that we implement, as well as the balancing that we do, the fine tuning, we don't want to compromise any of that. That's why we do want to continue producing the patches to the quality that we hold ourselves up to. So we do want to ask for that initial 2 weeks so that we will have
I still can't get over the fact that they're
cycle, but we will
apologizing for 2
continue
weeks.
to bring you regular updates.
I mean, Endwalker
本
was
当に
delayed
あと
2
10
weeks,
年
so.
やっていけばとてつもなく
And Yoshiki almost cried on.
なると思ってます。皆さんとね。
Or
Well,
Yoshiki
that's
did
because
cry.
because he had said he legit set up and said, yeah, it's coming out.
And we
This day.
strive for another
No,
10
no,
years. This is
sorry,
our
guys, no.
goal.
It's not
And
happening.
I'm
I'm
hoping that we will
no.
get to a point where we will be celebrating, or like we will be looking back at our journey in our 20th like anniversary.
まだまだやりたいことね、チャレンジしてみたいことあります。驚いてもらえることやっていこうと思いますので、ぜひこの先もですね、一緒にまたボティン作っていただけると嬉しいです。はい。
We do want to do more, take on more and more challenges, bring you more surprises. So I want to continue building this together with you all. So yeah, it would be great if you could continue to keep with us.
はい、では前半。
はい、ありがとうございました。Thank you very much. So this is all about the first half of today's letter live. 今日の前半、プロデューサーレターライブの前半戦はここまでとなっています。
1個忘れた。
どうぞ。
DC トラベルはいつが結構多くて、今のところ予定 6.18 かなで予定してますんで。
618?
We did
What
see
did
a
you
lot
just say?
of comments about, so when is data center travel going to be implemented? We are currently looking at 6.18 timing for that.
That's so soon. Wow.
はい
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
で
yeah,
は
that's
この
very
後
soon.
休憩に入るんですが、
That's so
今
much
日は
sooner
後
than I
半
would
戦
have
は
expected.
通訳は別の方にお願いすることになっておりますので、あゆみさんがここまでとなります。So before going to break, because we have another person for translation for the Q&A part. So that's it for あゆみさん today. So あゆみさん、皆さんに一言ご挨拶お願いします。
Bye.
は
Bye.
い、長い間お付き合いいただきありがとうございました。Thank you guys so much for your patience as we navigate through all of this. But yeah, I will see you guys at another opportunity.
ありがとうございます。Thank you very much, あゆみさん。
ま
では、
あ、僕がね、安心してこうゲームシステムの話っていうのを全世界の皆さんにこういつもの調子でお届けできるのは、
I mean, at least we don't get any of this translated.
特にね、僕の性格を把握した上でのやっぱりトランスレーションがね、もう長くなりますのでね、僕らもコンビを組ませてもらって、
そうですね。
なんで本当に助かってます。いつもありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。ここどうやって訳しましょう。
ぶっこが言えばいいよ。
吉田さんは
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
Ami-san really knows Yoshida-san's characteristics very well, so it's we are very relying on Ami-san's translation for when he explains the game systems or mechanics. So thank you very much, Ami-san again.
Thank you.
はい。では今から休憩に入るんですが、1時40分再開。So we want to restart the latter part of the letter live at the 1:40 p.m. Japan time, which is in 20 minutes. でですね、今日の休憩の音もご紹介したいと思います。So during the break, we have two videos today for you to enjoy.
20分あるから1本ならいい。
Uh-oh.
I don't know what these videos are.
Checks for spoilers. That's fair.
Yeah. Looks like some community wall thing.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And then we're back for the
Actually.
Q&A.
And one is a.
Oh, it's the Endwalker trailer again.
Yeah. All right, that was it. We can't watch anymore because next Q&A. So.
Man, it's
Yep.
I can't. This feels like one of those things that we would normally be waiting until FanFest to hear. Like, unbeknownst to you, all this time, all through the 6.x series, we've been doing this, and this in preparation to reveal it for. So, this is the earliest I think we've heard about a system like this being put into place.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
That's
when I
crazy.
when I said if if you know how to use like spreadsheet, Excel, or whatever, apparently at some point in time down the line, they state, yeah, if you know how to use spreadsheet and Excel, sign up to be a game designer over here, please, because that's honestly we'll teach you. just know how to
That's.
use.
I mean, that I
and
find.
no Japanese.
Well, yeah, of course. I find moving into like my new field that this is just going to be mostly true for the current generation coming into it. All this nonsense the past 10 years of you
Mhm.
need to have 5 years experience, blah blah. It's all bullshit. Come in with like actual meaningful skills in technology. You can be taught everything else, and
Yeah.
frankly, that's what jobs need to be doing. There needs to be a position to teach people like what this job is actually expecting of you, and it'll probably only take a couple of weeks for most jobs. I mean, a couple of weeks might be overkill for some.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm still learning on the go mostly, and it's been just fine. I'm not gonna get too much into what I do. Actually, let's let that one go.
Yep,
Um.
exactly how it's always been like that. Like all the stuff I learned in university when I actually got into a games job. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
I was retaught everything at the games job.
Yeah, because you have to do it as per their specs
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Well,
Also.
I got taught Unreal Engine and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Right, and God forbid anything you learned is out of date, which likely it will be
oh,
because
it
of
is
how
now. Yeah,
quick.
for sure. I
Yeah,
was on it Unreal 3 when I worked in the company, and now it's on
mhm,
5. So
and technology moves so fast anyway. So
Mm. Also, they replace Imi with Kate, who is actually now the head of localization for 14.
no
yay.
shit,
Because
good for her.
because Koji Fox became the
He got the axe. Oh no!
no. He is
Wow.
he is now the leader of pretty much that whole department in Business Division 3.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice, nice, nice,
So
nice.
so he is
he's going
now
from
working
busy
on
to
working
so
on
busy.
16 as well.
Oh,
Bless
On the
him.
cool.
local.
Oh, it's gonna be so good.
Yeah. So
How long till we
and pretty
get
much anything
new?
else on
All right, how
television.
many fucking puns are gonna be in 16?
So many, and you know it. They
Oh
got the
well.
right man for the job.
Either way,
It's gonna kill me.
this video has gone on for 2.5 hours. Thank you for watching, and we gotta
Yeah,
move on
thanks for
to
sticking with us.
a trailer for a game that just got announced. So we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.